What's going on, folks? And thank you for tuning in with me to another edition of the True Capitalist Radio broadcast. And, of course, I am your host, the man they call Ghost. And once again, folks, I want to thank you very much for tuning in with me. Folks, this is Baller Friday. For all the folks that are tuning in to the Capitalist Radio broadcast, I really appreciate your patronage. This is episode number 603. Episode number 603 for all the folks that are keeping track of the True Capitalist Radio broadcast. It is August 10th, 2018. And before we get into anything else, I'd like to ask everybody who's listening to this broadcast right now to spread it around like wildfire, right? Spread this show link around like wildfire and let everybody you know across the internets and throughout the world. Let them know that True Capitalist Radio is in effect and in the house. And we are live every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, right here on the official website of the True Capitalist Radio broadcast. I guess while we still have internet freedom, huh, you know? Not funny, but seriously, while we still have internet freedom, you can type in your browser right now and add to your bookmarks, add to your favorites the following: ghost.report. It's as simple as that. That's all you have to do is type in your browser, add to your bookmarks, add to your favorites, ghost.report. And by God, if you have not done so, then please follow me on my only social media that I have on the internets, and that's on Gab, folks. You know that Gab's been in the news as of late because some idiot by the last name of Little, which is, in my opinion, a leftist plant, is out here agitating the situation and testing the limits of how far freedom of speech goes. And if it was up to the owners of Gab, I'm sure they would let almost damn near anything pass as freedom of speech. But since we are in a monopoly of the internet, folks, and I'm talking about people who monopolize the server space, people who monopolize the bandwidth, people who monopolize everything that is the internet, folks, they are censoring at every level possible. And that's what happened to Gab yesterday, folks, so I truly hope everything has been rectified since then, folks. We have to make sure that we have these types of social media networks available at our disposal. We should not be subjected as the only choice as these damn Silicon Valley oligarchs. And we're going to talk about that later on, folks. We're going to talk a little bit about social media and whether or not it's too big for any of this stuff. Is it just too big for us to understand? And I'm going to discuss this later on in the broadcast. But once again, get yourself a Gab account, folks, all right? Stand against the Silicon Valley oligarchs. Get yourself a Gab account and follow me on there under the name Politics Ghost, all right? All one word, no underscores. Politics Ghost is the name to follow. It's that damn simple. And by the way, what's going on to the True Capitalist Radio chat room and what's going on to the inner circle, baby? Happy Baller Friday! What's going on to everybody out there who's listening into the True Capitalist Radio chat room? How are you doing? Hopefully you're having a good, decent Baller Friday. I know there's a lot of people taking advantage of the last month of summer, and I'm sure everybody's having their last remnants of the beach and all their last remnants of barbecues in the back and all that good stuff. But yeah, we're at the end of the summer, baby, so take advantage. I want to say what's going on to everybody who is in the chat room right now chilling with me. What's going on to the professor? What's going on to Still Waters, Stagio, Man Bear Pig, Hoodie in the house, Hans Uberlander. We've got Fish in the house. Going on, Fish. We got Distilling, the Carolina Capitalist Blasphemous Bastard. What's going on, man? We got Birds of Prey, Big Papa Shekels. We've got Australian Capitalist and Aesthetic. What's going on to Holden Capitalist? What's going on to Nat? What's going on to everyone else who I did not name who's listening to the broadcast in the True Capitalist Radio chat room? What's going on, Esoteric Trinity? Lots of people in the True Capitalist Radio chat room. If you want to be a part of the True Capitalist Radio chat room, then follow the instructions. It's this simple. Go to my Gab right now, all right? Go to my Gab. Check out my Gab. Go to my Gab account right now, Politics Ghost, all one word, no underscores, and click the subscribe button for premium content, all right? Click the subscribe button for premium content, and once you do that, private message me on Gab and let me know your Discord chat name, because that's where we have our True Capitalist Radio chat. Let me know your Discord chat name, and I will private message you back with an invitation to the True Capitalist Radio chat room. It's that damn simple. Now, one more thing before we get on to the nitty-gritty of the broadcast on this Baller Friday. I want to just let everybody know that we do have new merch in the Ghost.market website, folks. Have you seen it? Oh, my God, we've got Ghost.report merch. And I don't know if you've seen the latest merch. I would strongly advise you right now just to take a look at it right now. Type in your browser, Ghost.market. That's it. Just type in Ghost.market and take a look at the newest design that we have for apparel for the True Capitalist Radio chat, or for the True Capitalist Radio broadcast, I should say. Ghost.report apparel. And what I love about this, folks, it is paying tribute to Trump himself without actually naming him by name, because if I name him by name, I'd probably be infringing on his trademark or copyright or something to that effect. But it's got the True Capitalist Radio ghost skull, in effect, in the Donald Trump haircut, baby. And that, I mean, I'm telling you, you cannot beat it. You cannot beat it. You're subtly promoting Trump while at the same time promoting the Ghost.report website, baby. I love it. I just would like to remind everybody, it is up. Type in your browser right now, Ghost.market. Check it out. It's badass, baby. I like it. We just put it out last night, like at 1 in the morning. Just barely put it out at 1 in the morning, baby. Anyway, let's go ahead and get right to the nitty-gritty, folks. Okay, now, we've got a lot of things to talk about here, so I don't want to preamble too much on this Baller Friday edition. I just want to let everybody know, because we've got a lot of new people who are listening to us from all over the world, which I appreciate. I'm not joking when I say we've had an explosion of different kinds of listeners who are listening to us, because whether it's because of the cryptocurrency talk, the business stock talk, or the straight political dope, baby. But people are listening to us, and I appreciate it. And the only thing that I underscore is the fact that now we are being censored. Well, I've been censored for the past 2 years, but now it's coming into the mainstream limelight that folks are being censored. All I ask of you at this point is just spread the word about this website. Spread the word about this True Capitalist Radio show. Because we are purely organic, folks. The only reason that you probably have heard of us or are listening to us right now is because you heard of us through the political internet underground. And I don't blame you, folks. I mean, this is the straight political dope. So with that being said, spread it around like wildfire. Ghost.report. Now, no more preamble. I want to say happy Baller Friday to all the capitalists that are listening to me right now throughout the world. And for you folks that are just tuning in asking what the hell's a Baller Friday, it is this time of the week in which capitalists look back upon the week's labor, week's wages, week's salary, and bask in their success. I mean, bask in their success and partake in something that you appreciate. Partake in a vice. Partake in something that you celebrate what you have done. Because let me tell you something, if you're working every day, you're a badass. I mean, if you're paying your own bills, if you're paying your own cell phone, you're paying your own internet, you're paying your own light bill, you're paying your own rent, you are the ultimate badass. And to be honest with you, if it were up to me, I would put you up on posters highlighting you as model citizens of the country. But unfortunately, we don't live in that day and age. I don't know what the fuck kind of day and age we live in. So since nobody's going to give you the basking, why not bask yourself, you know? Partake in a libation. Partake in, whatever it is that you like as a vice. How about a gallon of Haagen-Dazs? How about a whole pie in one fork? How about a fucking extra large pizza? All for yourself. I'm just trying to let y'all know, folks, if you don't take care of yourself, nobody's going to take care of you. All right? It's as simple as that. Anyway, let's get right to the cryptocurrency markets, because I'm sure what I meant to say is, I'm sure everyone's like, Ghost, what the fuck is going on with the cryptocurrency markets? Well, folks, what have I told you about cryptocurrency? That it is going to contract whenever you have a rise in the U.S. dollar value. And right now, folks, we are at complete all-time, well, I shouldn't say all-time, excuse me. We are at years high. 52 weeks. We are at a year's high and continuing to go upward when it comes to the U.S. dollar. I'm not joking. Today alone, it was up almost 1%. The U.S. dollar, I'm not joking, it was up almost a whole percent. It was actually up 0.76% today. And that's what's causing this damn contraction in the market, because everybody wants to cash out. I mean, when the value is in the U.S. dollar, that's why guys in crypto are like, man, I got to cash out, baby. You know what I mean? I got some things to buy. You know, it's back to school. You know, I got to go back to college, or I got a girl. You know, I got to go buy her some shit. So that's what's really happening in the cryptocurrency markets, unless we forget that the ETF that was being initiated by the Winklevoss twins and it being tabled by the SEC until September 30th has definitely had effect in the cryptocurrency markets, folks. And I think that's done on purpose, if you want my opinion. I think it's done on purpose. I think that they are not, in my opinion, the SEC is not going to reject the ETF in relation to Bitcoin. And once that happens, folks, then I think it's open season to a whole new marketplace of investors into cryptocurrency. We just got to wait. Remember, it's a very slow process to integrate cryptocurrency into already modern-day trading stock, commodities, and Forex platforms. And they're slowly integrating that now. And before they integrate them in their platforms, they want to have other instruments to be able to invest in when it comes to Bitcoin. And an ETF is perfect. Now, for you folks that aren't aware of what an ETF is, I think I've done this many times on this broadcast, but we'll say it again. It is an exchange-traded fund. It acts much like a mutual fund, but unlike a mutual fund, you can't day trade a mutual fund. You have to, hold a certain mutual fund for a given time before you can let it go and matures, whatever. It's a bunch of, you have to look at a prospectus, whatever. But what makes exchange-traded funds so lucrative is that even though there's an actual group of investors running this exchange-traded fund, meaning that they're trading in whatever the ETF is based on. There's a lot of ETFs that are based on, let's just say for the sake of argument, oil. There's going to be ETFs that go up with the price of oil, and there's going to be ETFs that go down with the price of oil. The ETF allows the investor, the individual instrument, to be able to capitalize on any gains in a given market, in a given sector, in a given indice, in a given commodity, etc. And you can trade ETFs or exchange-traded funds much like a stock. So if you have a very good hunch that there's going to be a short-term gain in a given commodity, in a given indice, you can put a ETF trade hoping that it'll either go up or you can think it can go down and buy an ETF that coincides with the decrease in a commodity. Because believe it or not, there are ETFs that you can invest into that go up as the price of a given commodity or a given indice goes down. So ETFs provide a lot of leverage, and there are actual fund managers that are managing the trades of these exchange-traded funds, which means that there's probably going to be billions of dollars at the disposal of these exchange-traded funds in the Bitcoin arena, which is going to add to the market capitalization of the entire cryptocurrency market itself. And on top of which, once we finally see complete integration of cryptocurrency and in traditional investment instruments like stocks, commodities, I think that we have not seen anything in the cryptocurrency market. I'm telling you, we haven't even scratched the surface, and all you've got to do is just remember, Wall Street is eyeballing this as a legitimate investment. Why do you think that you have the token custody service that is now being offered by Coinbase? And since Coinbase is getting all kinds of millions from being token custody bearers, you got Goldman Sachs wanting to do the same damn thing. So they're around the corner. All right? I mean, I could imagine at least a couple of trillion of investment is going to get ready to go into this cryptocurrency market. And that's just based on individuals that want to make a buck. Whether they're investing in an ETF, whether they're investing in the futures. Remember, there's already a Bitcoin futures at this point. So right now, I think everybody's waiting until September 30th, and I don't believe that the SEC is going to reject the ETF related to Bitcoin that was initiated by the Winklevoss twins. And if it does go through, I think that we're going to have a very, very happy holiday season, to say the least. A very happy holiday season, and I'm looking forward to it. That's why, I mean, even though we're seeing major contractions, I'm doubling down. I'm buying more cryptocurrency because this is the time you want to accumulate. This is the time that you want to continue to have whatever liquidity that you have. Put it into these coins that we all know are going to have a future. We all know that have the technology to sustain itself. We all know that are going to be around and are going to be innovators in this field. And just keep and hold. Like I've always told you, folks, you don't lose money until you sell it off. And why would you sell it off? I mean, just having that as part of your portfolio. I mean, just think of this. Owning crypto, owning stocks, that means that you are worth something. That you own something. You could put that down on a credit card application that you own stocks, you own commodities, you own ETFs. I mean, lest we forget, folks, if you are a value investor in the blue chip stocks or high yield dividend stocks, banks would be more than happy to use that as collateral for any kind of loan that you may want to put forth, whether it's for a business, whether it's for a house. I mean, these are the types of ways that you have to think in a very critical and creative manner when it comes to capitalism. I mean, there is major creativity to be had in capitalism. You just have to initiate it. You have to do it. You got to think about it. Anyway, with that being said, folks, once again, the U.S. dollar almost up an entire percent on the day today. It is up 0.76% U.S. dollar. Very high, 52-week highs for the U.S. dollar. That's why we're seeing such contractions. And aside from the ETF tabling until September 30th, let's go ahead and take a look at the entire market capitalization of crypto. The market capitalization is $214 billion market cap. I mean, good God! $214 billion market capitalization. Now, what that says to me, it's time to gobble up crypto. I mean, I am literally diversifying and gobbling up as much cryptocurrency as I possibly can. We saw these types of dips around the same time last year. I mean, take a look at the charts. Take a look for patterns, indicators, etc. You have to use all these factors when trying to make a judgment call when it comes to a capitalist play or when it comes to an investment play. And in my view, folks, I mean, we've seen this same thing last year. And in my view, I think that we've got a little bit better of an opportunity to see whether or not there's going to be increases in the cryptocurrency markets because the damn September 30th meeting, the SEC meeting, on whether or not they're going to have a Bitcoin ETF. So all we have to do is wait for September 30th, and there is no reason why the SEC should not. I think it's going to be a very Merry Christmas. I think it's going to be a happy holidays. I think everybody right now just needs to be patient. And like I said, folks, long-term investment reigns supreme, folks. All right, so let's take a look at some of these continued contractions in the cryptocurrency market. Like I said, this is the reason we're seeing more contraction, folks, is because the dollar is king. The U.S. dollar is king. It is the king of fiat currencies. Take a look at the world right now. I mean, I just gabbed out a article stating that the fucking Turkish lira is down to damn near nothing. You've got Erdogan from Turkey begging his own people to sell their fucking gold and silver so that they can buy more lira. I mean, come on, Erdogan. It's one thing to be an authoritarian dictator and flex your military nuts around. It's another thing to, try to flex nuts with us capitalists who understand how the operation of economy works. And we already caught you with your pants down. Your lira was already going down because you have taken over your central bank. You have given no autonomy to your central bank, so you're basically running the presses out there in Turkey. We threw the sanctions, and we only used the damn reverend as a means of doing so. So we're putting you in your corner right there, Erdogan, before you think that you can flank the potential war that may still happen with Saudi Arabia and Iran. But take a look at the lira, take a look at the Canadian dollar, take a look at the Chinese fucking tuna fish dollar, whatever the fuck they got. Take a look at them. They're all going down. And why are they going down? Because these assholes thought they could flex nuts with America and think that they could play tariff wars and trade wars with us. I mean, give me a fucking break. You fucking idiots should have known better. I mean, you people in China, I'm talking to the people at the very top that are, for whatever reason, refusing to renegotiate this trade deal and act as if they're fucking Genghis Khan in the Mongolian Empire or some crap. What you Chinese need to understand is that we created you. We made you. American consumption is what put the metropolitan into China. It was the American consumption and the imbalanced trade deal that made the house of cards of economy that you have. And now that we're trying to renegotiate the trade deal, and it's not like Trump wants to renegotiate it so it can be even. President is just asking for China. You got a $600 billion annual trade surplus with us. We got a $600 billion trade deficit with you. Why don't you take off $200 billion? Why don't you take off $250 billion? They don't want to do it. They think that we, the United States, and the people are nothing more than a bunch of money fucking piggy banks that they're going to just yank our goddamn wealth right out of our asses, and we're just going to continue to make these people wealthy. Thank God Donald Trump is in office. Thank God he's an American capitalist, and he understands what's going on here. And thank God he has implemented economic warfare, and you're goddamn right it's economic warfare. To make every one of these goddamn countries who no longer have respect for America understand that you will submit to America, or this whole goddamn game will blow up in your fucking face, and you people know what I'm talking about. So with that being said, let me get to the cryptocurrencies before I start going into some kind of soliloquy here. Let's get to Bitcoin, shall we? BTC is the symbol. Current market capitalization for Bitcoin is $106 billion market capitalization. The current circulating supply is now 17.2 million in circulation. In the past 24 hours, Bitcoin has gone down. Jesus Christ, 6.28% decrease. Good God! Oh, my God. Current price for Bitcoin, $6,180.14 per Bitcoin. Oh, my God. Hey, if you thought Bitcoin was bad, take a look at Ethereum. Take a look at Ethereum, ETH. Current market cap is $33 billion market capitalization. The current circulating supply is 101 million in circulation. In the past 24 hours, Ethereum has gone down 9.12%. Jesus Christ. The current price for Ethereum, ETH, $334.26. I'm telling you right now, folks, we're headed towards all-time lows. And if you were on the sidelines all this time during the 2017-2018 increase in the crypto markets, I would strongly advise your ass right now to take some of your liquidity, get off the sidelines, and get into the front lines, okay? I'm telling you right now, all you've got to do right now, listen to me, mark my words, all right? August 10th, 2018 is when Ghost said, right now is the time, if you're an absolute idiot and don't know nothing about cryptocurrency, right now is the time to buy and fucking hold and don't do nothing. Don't do nothing. Wait till Christmas. Wait till January, for Christ's sake. I'm telling you, and for those that are just going to ignore this call, that's what makes you and us capitalists. Because I have given you and articulated to you why this is going to happen. I'm not just saying it because I'm yanking it out of my ass. I'm giving you actual financial information, data, etc. to forecast what I'm forecasting. Unlike most people in the goddamn business mainstream media. But I'm just telling you, right now is the fucking time if you did not hop on the goddamn crypto train last time. And I'm serious. I mean, there are guys in the inner circle that listened to me back in April of 2017, May of 2017, when fucking Ethereum was like at $30. Bitcoin was like at $900. Dash was like $30. Zcash was at $25. Litecoin was at $4 fucking bucks. Do you understand what I'm saying, folks? This is why now is the time. Now is the time to start hopping on and just hold on. Hop on and hold on. And everybody's getting out of here. And why did I tell you everybody's getting out of here? Because the dollar, the U.S. dollar, is 52-week high. It's very valuable right now. I mean, I just saw a goddamn a commercial. All right? 2 for $5 for McDonald's. I don't advise anybody going to McDonald's. I'm just using this as an example. They did not pay me to say this shit. But 2 for $5, meaning you get to get either, I think it was a 10-piece nugget, a chicken sandwich, or a Big Mac. 2 of those for $5. I mean, I remember very vividly in the Obama administration that you could not even get that kind of deal. And that's why people that were truly poor, meaning that they were working, and because they were working, they made just enough to go over the threshold to get goddamn food stamps and food cards and shit. These people found it hard to get food out here because they got rid of the dollar menus. They got rid of the value menus, etc. Now, the value of the dollar goes up. We're seeing all kinds of cheap prices fall everywhere. And I'm just using the fast food as an example because most people like to feed their fat asses as opposed to anything else because we got to eat, you know what I mean? So I'm just saying, you know, we're seeing shit now that we didn't even see during Obama's administration. And there's reason for that because the dollar is valuable, man. It's valuable. I keep telling you. Anyway, let's get to Bitcoin Cash here. All right. BCH is the symbol for Bitcoin Cash. Current market capitalization is $9.8 billion market cap. The current circulating supply is 17.2 million in circulation. In the past 24 hours, Bitcoin Cash has also taken in the teeth. It is down 6.75%. Current price for Bitcoin Cash is $572.42. Very low for Bitcoin Cash as far as I'm concerned, man. I've got Bitcoin Cash. I'm going to be completely honest with you. Let's continue going. Litecoin, too. I'm liking these Litecoin values. I don't know what the hell Charlie Lee's doing getting with banking, but Litecoin still looks good in comparison to the old school coins that are in the same position that Litecoin is now. The circulation isn't too terribly bad. And not to mention, there's a lot of coins that are being distributed right now that use the Litecoin token. So let's go ahead and take a look at it. 3.4 billion in market capitalization. The circulating supply is 57 million. 57 million in circulation. Let me take a drink here. And Shit, excuse me. And yes, I am not drinking. I'm not drinking, folks. Man, what are we, 37 days? 38 days? 37, 38 days. No alcohol whatsoever. And let me tell you, I really do want to drink, especially when it comes down to these fucking weekends, man. I mean, that's why I was like, you know what? I got to take a drink. I got tea here. At least it looks like booze. You know, I could somewhat, make myself mentally believe that, hey, that could be some scotch in there, and you got to get yourself mentally going. Scotch. No, it's fucking tea. It's not scotch. It's tea. Anyway, we're going to continue going. I'm going to try to extend this. I'm going to try to extend not having to drink for as long as I possibly can to clean out the inside, clean out the system. I will be back. I just don't know when, all right? I am pretty impressed that I am already, 37 days. So, anyway, that's enough about me. Let's get to Litecoin here. LTC is the symbol. Current market capitalization is $3.4 billion in market capitalization. The current circulating supply is 57 million in circulation. In the past 24 hours, Litecoin has gone down 7.71%. Current price for Litecoin is $59.30 per Litecoin. Let's get to Monero, folks. XMR is the symbol for Monero. $1.4 billion market capitalization. In the circulating supply, Monero has 16.2 million in circulation. In the past 24 hours, Monero has gone down 9.20%. Jesus Christ! Current price for Monero, $91.63 per Monero. Oh my God. You know what? We all get it. We all get that the market is down. There's no need for me to continue to go on and read off all this red on a goddamn Baller Friday. We got a lot to talk about. So what I'm going to do is just go ahead and end this agony of reading off all this red. But like I told each and every one of you, if you did not catch the cryptocurrency train back in 2017 to now, then now is the time, man. All right? Now is the time to go in. That's all I'm saying. And you don't even need to know how to trade. You don't even need to know how to do all this sophisticated stuff, man. All you got to do is buy and hold. Buy and hold. That's all I'm saying, man. You don't even need to know how to short and pattern trade, man. Buy and hold, and you will be thanking me like many people have been thanking me ever since I got into this game of crypto and told everybody, look, real money is coming in here. This isn't play money. Real money's coming in here, and I want a piece of it. And you know what? Myself, the Inner Circle, many people within the True Capitalist Radio chat room, we've all gotten our piece, and you know what? We want mo. We want mo! So give me some mo! Anyway, let's go ahead and get to the goddamn stocks. We got a lot of shit to talk about, so that's why I'm kind of skimming through all this stuff. The stocks are also in a contraction mode right now, folks, because they're reacting to what's going on in the world today. The big news was the Turkish lira crashing. I mean, it's the currency for Turkey. It is crashing because, like I said, folks, the economy is going to crap because of Erdogan, the president's dictator-like governance. He has superseded the autonomy of its own central bank, so now you've got Erdogan at the head of the presses, and he continues to print money. So there's a lot of things that are going to affect financial institutions, because lest we forget, man, I mean, financial institutions are invested in Turkey. And don't let me explain what bonds are, but, whenever a government has a bond sale, that means investors come along, they buy the bonds up with a guaranteed yield after, so many years, and this is how governments get their money. I mean, everybody always asks, right? We owe $20 trillion, almost $21 trillion in debt, Ghost. Who the fuck do we owe that money to? Who do we owe this money to? You owe all that money to whoever is holding the United States bonds that is the United States debt. And you know what? I mean, that's not the only bonds out there. There's bonds for everything. Have you heard about bonds for your city, bonds for your school districts, bonds for your county, bonds for your state? I mean, so there's a lot of bonds that have been invested out here, and that's what everybody was worried about back in 2009 crash, that we were going to have a municipal bond crisis, that we were going to see cities go bankrupt and not be able to pay their debtors, not be able to pay their bondholders, and that would have been a serious problem. And I still think that could be a serious problem because most municipalities don't run their cities or towns fiscally responsible. Same with the states. So anyway, that's why this is how debt, that's how you get debt. That's how the countries obtain cash, is by giving a bond sale. Anyway, with that being said, the Turkish lira crashing did affect a lot of financial institutions that are invested in this, and this is why you're seeing a contraction in the stock market, okay? We've got the Dow Jones Industrial down 196.09 points, a percentage decrease of 0.77%, closing out the Dow Jones Industrial at 25,313.14 points for the Dow Jones Industrial. Okay, we got the S&P 500 also down 20.30 points, a percentage decrease of 0.71%, closing out the S&P at 2,833.28 points for the S&P 500. We've got the NASDAQ. The NASDAQ is also down 52.67 points, a percentage decrease of 0.67%, closing out the NASDAQ at 7,839.11 points for the NASDAQ composite. So that's why we're reading negative in the damn stock market, folks. You can thank the Turkish lira, and it's crashing for that. Because remember, our banks, United States financial institutions, they're invested in a lot of these countries. And if these countries go belly up and there's a risk that they're not going to be able to pay their bondholders back, that's a serious problem. That's a serious goddamn problem. Anyway, let's go ahead and get to energy here. Let's go to WTI sweet crude. Now, what have I told you about oil? Because of all the destabilization in the world, especially amongst all these oil producers, it would behoove anybody to at least put a little bit of oil ETFs in their portfolio that coincides with the increase of oil. I mean, there's a lot of, how can I put it? There's a lot of things happening in the international community that would make that a fairly profitable move, in my opinion. So let's go ahead and take a look at WTI sweet crude. It is up 82 cents, a percentage increase of 1.23%, closing out WTI at $67.63 per WTI sweet crude barrel. We've got Brent crude also up today, 74 cents, a percentage increase of 1.03%. Current price for Brent crude oil is $72.81 per barrel of Brent crude oil. We've got gasoline up 1.97%. We've got natural gas down 0.37%. We've got heating oil up 1.32%. Let's go ahead and get to the metals, shall we? The metals! Let's get to the goddamn metals! Now, I'm seeing nothing but negative in the metals, and you know what? In the short term, I think that's a good thing, man. Because what I want to see, okay, and I'm hoping I can see this by Christmas time. You know, I'm hoping. I want to see brothers, the black folk, out there with the gold grills again, and the gold chains, and, because they need that. They need that in their life. And that signifies that we're in an economy to where the blacks at this point aren't killing each other for their own gold, and they're more worried about flossing at the club. Because remember when that's what blacks were all about, folks? Remember that? I mean, I remember that. I mean, I remember when the Cash Money millionaires were, kicking ass and rapping, and Birdman, and, 2000, 2001, 2002, 2003. 50 Cent thinking he's all badass, throwing money around, and I'm going to make it rain on them hoes and all that crap. Until Barack Obama came into power, and that all went away. Didn't y'all notice that? I'm surprised that the black folks don't notice that. That once Barack Obama came into power, all the blacks that used to go them chains and the grills, that all went away. And that's because under Obama, we were under a kind of socialist kind of economy. He was trying to transition America into a socialist-like governance. That's why, folks, during Barack Obama's tenure, there were more public sector jobs than there were private sector jobs. And that was done on purpose because, folks, if you've got more public sector jobs than private sector jobs, then I don't care what you call it, that's socialism. And that's what Barack Obama was trying to instill in America. I mean, if you are ignorant of that, just take a look at his policies. I mean, he was trying to instill socialism, and he was doing it not necessarily to the people's benefit. He was instilling socialism to the upper echelon of finances benefit. Because who did Barack Obama bail out right when he came into power? He bailed out the banks. He bailed out the big corporations. He bailed out everybody who donated to his campaign contribution account, and same with the Democrats. Remember in 2008 when everybody thought that when they elected Barack Obama that he was going to pay their mortgage, he was going to pay their car note and this and that? He didn't do shit. He bailed out everybody that was at the top, and everybody at the bottom got beans, man. And you know what's sad? Is that the people at the bottom that got the beans, the food card and shit, these people thought they were balling. I mean, it was a transition that I never thought I would see, but by God, man, if you compare that to fucking now, I mean, the transitions have been unbelievable. But never did I ever see that black people would actually think, and minorities in general, even white trash, they thought they were balling because they were getting a food card, and they were like, man, I ain't got to do nothing, man. I just got to sit back here, man. I can get fed whenever I want, man. I can smoke a blunt whenever I want, man. You know what I'm saying? That's what I do. Never thought I'd ever see it, man. I never thought I'd ever see it, but I saw it, and it's gotten a hell of a lot worse since then, man. As a matter of fact, that now has become the culture in some parts. But I just want to see, back to what I was discussing, black folk with their gold chains and the gold grill. It would signify a decent economy, man. It would. It would signify that we're in a decent economy and people are worried about them instead of worrying about dumb shit that fucking Hollywood and the mainstream media talking heads are telling them. Ah, Jesus Christ. Let's get to the metals. All right, gold is down. It's pretty cheap, by the way. It is down 90 cents, a percentage decrease of 0.07%, closing out gold at $1,219 even per troy ounce of gold. We've got silver. It is also down 17 cents, a percentage decrease of 1.08%, closing out silver at $15.30 per troy ounce of silver. We've got copper down 0.83%. We've got platinum down 0.63%. Let's go ahead and get to agriculture. Everything is down today. I'm telling you, man, everything is down today because that dollar is up. It was up almost 1% today, for fuck's sake. Let's get to grains. Corn is down corn is down 2.87%. Jesus Christ. Wheat is down 2.90%. Oats is down 1.57%. Rough rice is down 1.77%. Soybeans, good God, is down 4.67%. Soybean oil is down 1.63%. And canola is down 0.75%. Let's get to the soft, shall we? Cocoa down 0.52%. Coffee down 0.60%. Sugar is down Sugar is down 2.77 fucking %. Woo! Good God with these losses today. What a bloody Friday. Let's go to orange juice. It is down 1.55%. Cotton is down 2.33%. Here's the only green one in the softs. That's right. The only green. Lumber. Lumber is up 1.02%. Rubber is down 0.64%. And ethanol is down 1.53%. Good God. Could it get any lower? Let's go to livestock, shall we? Live cattle, it's up 0.18%, barely. Cattle feeder is up 0.34%. And lean hogs, folks, is down 0.44%. And that, my friends, is the markets for your ass, all right? And I hope that you're having a good Baller Friday, by the way. And the reason that I went through the market so fast is because we got a lot of things to talk about on this Baller Friday, man. Now, before we get to it, let me go ahead and take a swig of this goddamn tea. I wish it was beer. I wish it was fucking scotch or something. But once again, 37 days without alcohol, so we're going to keep it going. So let's go ahead and get right into the nitty-gritty, and let's get into the straight political dope. Let's talk a little bit about the president and things affecting the president. Have you heard, folks? Have you heard that the president hosted a roundtable yesterday with state governors and state attorney generals and the cabinet members on prison reform? Now, why isn't this being highlighted all over the mainstream media if supposedly the mainstream media is for all this leftism and helping people, etc.? Because, folks, they don't want to give any credit where credit's due. They don't want to cover any media that's going to suggest that the president is not racist. I mean, this is a pretty soft-hearted approach when it comes to prison reform. And I think that this is what we should do. We should try to rehabilitate those that make a horrible mistake and make sure that they are properly rehabilitated and never do it again and become a productive member of society. And if they can't, well, then we throw them in the garbage and we forget about them. I'm sorry. I mean, there's some people that just commit crime and that's all they're going to do. It's their modus operandi. They just don't want to be good. They want to hurt people. They want to steal from people. They want to rape people. They want to just victimize people. And these folks don't belong in regular society. But at the same time, folks, I don't remember the statistic, but I think it's somewhere in the lines of 1 in 3 young people that are under the age of 30 have been incarcerated. Yeah. Have been incarcerated. And that's not race breakdown either. I mean, that's young people. And many of these crimes are things like drugs, things like substance abuse, things to that capacity, which I'm no liberal. But since we are a rich nation, we should have the ability to be able to rehabilitate folks so that whatever it is that is making them or prohibiting them from being a productive member of society, it can be rectified after they get out of doing their time, and instead of being this gag reel of going back and forth to prison. And the president has taken all kinds of meetings on this issue to try to get every perspective. I mean, he's met with black pastors and reverends. He's met with all kinds of different officials and representatives of the black community, Mexican communities, etc. You know, folks that work in the prisons. You know, I mean, he's taken everybody's advice. Because we don't need to jail our population. What we need to do is make our population better. Make them more productive. Make them smarter. Make them want to be something. Make them motivated to be a capitalist. Make them understand what it takes to be a capitalist. Give them the proper education to be a capitalist. Teach them how to balance their checkbook. Teach them about budgets. Teach them about credit. Teach them about compound interest. Teach them about banking. Teach them how to pay their fucking taxes, which no one does. They don't even do it in college. This is what would prohibit people from going to prison. And by the way, well, I'll get to that in a minute. But the point is that what the president right now, President Trump, is doing, he is trying to rectify what the President Clinton did. Remember old Bill Clinton? Do you remember what he did? He initiated this prison bill and had his wife, his disgusting wife, Hillary Rotten Clinton, sell it out there on the road. Now, if y'all forget this was the infamous speech in which Hillary Clinton called black criminals, quote, super predators. Do y'all remember this? I don't know, do y'all black folks remember this? All you black folks that voted for Hillary, do y'all remember that she called black criminals, quote, super predators? And for all you idiots that just pretend that I'm just saying a lie, I always back it up with facts. So let the engineer go ahead and cue up Hillary Clinton calling urban communities nothing more than super predators. Go ahead, engineer, roll it.
The fourth challenge is to take back our streets from crime, gangs, and drugs. And we have actually been making progress on this count as a nation because of what local law enforcement officials are doing, because of what citizens and neighborhood patrols are doing. We're making some progress. Much of it is related to the initiative called community policing, because we have finally gotten more police officers on the street. That was one of the goals that the president had when he pushed the crime bill that was passed in 1994. He promised 100...
Stop it right there. Now, that's what I'm talking about, the crime bill. That is what the president right now, President Trump, is trying to rectify. Because this crime bill basically put most of America in prison or incarcerated or in some kind of county jail to some extent. All right? I know that all you black folk and all you minorities out there want to pretend that Bill Clinton was the first black president and all this other nonsense. He goofed you. He goofed you. The bill that Hillary Clinton is talking about, this was January 28th, 1996 is when she did this speech. I mean, she is explaining to you what this bill was and what it was about, etc., because remember, she was campaigning. Because remember, the president, or Bill Clinton was running for re-election, and she was highlighting this. She was highlighting this as part of Bill Clinton's record. Now, run the rest of it until she says and calls urban people super predators. Go ahead.
The crime bill that was passed in 1994. He promised 100,000 police. We're moving in that direction, but we can see it already makes a difference. Because if we have more police interacting with people, having them on the streets, we can prevent crimes. We can prevent petty crimes from turning into something worse. But we also have to have an organized effort against gangs. Just as in a previous generation we had an organized effort against the mob. We need to take these people on. They are often connected to big drug cartels. They are not just gangs of kids anymore. They are often the kinds of kids that are called super predators. No conscience, no empathy. We can talk about why they ended up that way, but first we have to bring them to heel. And the president has asked the FBI to launch a very concerted effort against gangs everywhere.
Now, did you hear that, black folk? Did you hear that? All right, we got to put them to heel. We got to make them heel like a goddamn dog. I mean, that was Hillary Clinton. She said it, not me. That y'all folks, y'all quote gang members, and that's that's a vast contrast, isn't it, folks? That was 1996. And now in 2018, you've got the Democrats pushing out commercials saying how MS-13 aren't bad guys and they're just misunderstood. I mean, just Jesus Christ, man. That's why I keep telling you the Democrats don't stand for anything. And if you are for the Democrats in 2018, what are you for truly? And I'm going to say this over and over again because it's the truth. If you're voting Democrat in 2018, then you believe that illegal immigrants who have come into this country illegally have more rights than law-abiding American citizens. That's one. Number two, You believe criminals have more rights than victims. I mean, that's what Democrats think in 2018. And number 3, and this is the most important as ever, if you vote Democrat in 2018, you are condoning, you are for the sexualization of children. You are for the sexualization of children. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it, man. But anyway, back to what I was talking about, how the President Trump, is trying to fix the crime bill that has put most of the American population, from the Generation Xers to the millennials, in jail. The president is trying to rectify that in a legitimate, compassionate capacity. And does the media give the president any credit whatsoever about this? Does the media give the president any kind of credit? Absolutely not. And by the way, I mean, it seems as if most folks on the left have a very short-term memory. I mean, why in the blue hell did the blacks just forget about the fact that Hillary Clinton called them super predators? Super predators, man. But you know what? Speaking of black people, let me transition from that into another subject matter relating to the president. And I'm talking about Omarosa. Have y'all heard about this stupid broad coming into play here in the media recently? Omarosa. Now, I want to be honest with you. I am not a racist person. You all know this, man. I mean, I do a lot of racial humor on this broadcast, and I try to push the boundaries of First Amendment rights on this broadcast. But let's just go ahead and talk about this, and let's be adults, okay? Now, for y'all that don't know, Omarosa, who used to be pro-Trump and used to, kind of go around being sassy at all the leftist commentators and thought she was such a badass bitch. I'm a badass bitch. I'm a boss-ass bitch. Bitch. I'm a boss-ass bitch. Anyway, that used to be a song in urban demographics. Anyway, Omarosa claims that Trump is a racist. And he used to use the word nigger on a constant basis or something to that effect. She's also claimed that she has recordings of the president, which I don't believe she has, but, if she does, regardless, what it says to me, Omarosa's actions, it just says to me that this is the epitome of how soulless most American black women truly are. And I know that there's going to be black women that listen to this and are going to say, oh, no, that motherfucker didn't. Oh, no, that motherfucker didn't. Yes, I did. Yes, I did, because why is Omarosa doing this? I'll tell you why she's doing this, because Omarosa was taken under the wing by Donald Trump in this 2016 campaign. I mean, that's what the president would, that's what anybody would do when it comes to running for anything. They would take people that have been close to them and say, hey, you want to campaign for me? You want to help me? Etc. But instead of doing that and understanding her role within the administration, like most black women who try to assert themselves in an aggressive manner, she was trying, in my opinion, to get too close to the president, thinking that she could manipulate the president if she was always at the president's ear. And for you folks that don't believe me, that's why she was physically removed by John Kelly, which is the chief of staff right now for Donald Trump. She was physically removed at the behest of John Kelly because Omarosa was just too much attempting to be in the ear of the president, trying to influence the president and his, I don't know what the hell she thought she was doing. People saw that, and I'm sure the president even said, look, can you get this bitch away from me, for Christ's sake? I mean, good God. Anyway, I know there's a lot of black women that are, getting a little testy that I'm saying that Omarosa is the epitome of how soulless black women are in America. But let's just be honest. I mean, the American black woman, for the most part, have no loyalty to anyone, not even their own race. Hence, why black men don't even want to be with black women. I mean, haven't you noticed most black women are turning into a bunch of bull dykes? And I think that there is a reason for that, if you want my personal opinion. And why do I say that? I mean, just take a look at all the black men that are going for white women. Take a look at all the interracial couples. Take a look at all the interracial mulatto children. I mean, do you think that if black women weren't so aggressive and so vulgar and so whatever it is that is their stereotype, don't you think that black men would be with them? Don't you think that black men would be with them and raise black families, raise black children, etc.? No. And I'm telling you, folks, the reason I'm putting the American black woman on blast is because who's raising the black men in this country? Who's raising the black men? Because the black fathers sure as hell ain't there. Who's raising the black boys in America? It's the single fat black mother. Or it's the black boss-ass bitch mother out here. And you folks know what I'm talking about. I'm not trying to be racist. I mean, if you all think I'm racist, answer this question. Would you want to be around the vicinity of a very boisterous and potentially violent black woman? No, you wouldn't. Okay? No, you wouldn't. I mean, would you want to sit there and deal with a boisterous, very loud, screaming, potentially violent black woman? No. And you see, folks, black women know this. That's their defense mechanism. Their defense mechanism is act really loud, scream, and if that doesn't intimidate folks away from them, then they get violent. Then they start throwing things. Then they start doing things in such an uncivil manner that it makes most folks want to walk the fuck away and leave. Most civil people don't want to conduct themselves in this capacity. And while black women are acting a fucking fool whenever they're getting boisterous, whenever they're getting violent, who is watching these black women act this way? Who is watching the black women not only act violent and boisterous, but take a look at the people walking away from them? Taking a look at the people just being like, oh, okay, I'm sorry, I'm going away. You see, these black boys, they look at their black mothers acting a fool and how everybody doesn't want to have anything to do with them, and they're, quote, scared of them. That's where black boys get their upbringing, by looking at the soullessness of black women and their lack of control of themselves, their lack of appreciation of their own selves, their own race, the lack of appreciation of their own children, the lack of love for anything. And why do I say that? Well, folks, did you know that American black women have aborted almost 20 million black babies ever since 1973. Huh? 20 million black aborted babies since 1973. And, you know, you got all these black folks that are galvanized by leftist rhetoric claiming that the white man is doing this and the man is doing that and the man is forcing us to kill each other and the man is this. Hey, right here, I'm giving you statistical data. 20 million black babies have been aborted by black women since 1973. Who is the biggest threat to the sustenance and the continuity of black people? Is it the white man? I don't think so. I think that you need to take a look at the black woman. Now, back to Omarosa. Omarosa, of course, is getting back at Trump because things didn't go her fucking way. And because things didn't go her way, how she thought of it in her ghetto-fied head, she is going to pull the ghetto out of everything. She's going to go out and put a tell-all book. She's going to lie. She's going to, you know how black women are? Ask a black man about a black woman, they'll tell you. Ask a black man about a woman, they'll tell you. Black man will tell you, man, these motherfucking black women, man, they hit themselves. Call the police to tell them you did it, man. You get a case for motherfucking domestic violence up in this motherfucker. I'm serious. It's the truth. Ask black men about black women and they'll tell you. And the reason I'm bringing up Omarosa is because, once again, folks, not only did she backstab the president because things didn't go her way, but she seems to have, in my opinion, a somewhat pattern of this type of activity. And what pattern is that? Well, Omarosa, I don't know if y'all remember, I don't know if she was married. I think she was married, but I could be mistaken. Maybe it was just a very close relationship with, hi, I'm John Coffey. I'm John Coffey from the Green Mile. Y'all remember John Coffey from the Green Mile? Remember that big son of a bitch? Remember, Omarosa was with this poor bastard, and guess what? That, I'm not saying anything, I'm just highlighting the facts. That she was with old, I'm John Coffey from the Green Mile movie. John Coffey from the Green Mile movie is no longer with us, folks, okay? I'm just saying. She's no longer with us, or he's no longer with us. And I want to be honest with you, I don't see her batting an eye about it. I don't even see her talking about it unless it's, to sell her book. I'm just saying, folks, this is the absolute truth. I mean, you don't hear her talking about that unless she's selling her book. So I'm just saying, John Coffey used to be with her. I think they were married, if I'm not mistaken. But, oh my God. I'm just saying, folks, all right? I mean, at this point, luckily, no one believes Omarosa because of all the salt she threw all over every leftist talking head out there in the American media. Do y'all remember what she did to Joy Behar from The View? She made Joy Behar look like an idiot, but, once again, look who's laughing last, Omarosa, you dumb broad. And I'm telling you, all this culminates from the fact that Omarosa just didn't know her role within the Trump administration. And the fact that she couldn't influence the president because, when you're the president, there's many layers of people that are around you. You've got advisors, you've got all kinds of shit. And because Omarosa could not be around the president to influence the man, I'm going to tell a tell-all book, motherfucker. So once again, I want to be honest with you. You black folks aren't making a good case for yourselves in today's America. I'm sorry. I'm not saying that there's no good black folks or anything. I've got good friends that are black folks, but even them, they don't want to commiserate with this ghetto-fied, ridiculous mentality. They don't want to be hanging around anybody who's going to act a fool and make their goddamn race look ignorant as fuck. But you see, those black folks, when they don't want to act like ghetto and listen to motherfucking gangster rap, they're Uncle Toms all of a sudden. I mean, and what's sad about it is black folks can't see how ignorant this fucking is. Some black folk want to move up. Some black folk want to get educated, and they're Uncle Toms. That's a bad thing. Jesus Christ. Let me just move on. Anyway, we are now 8 minutes into the second hour of the True Capitalist Radio broadcast. And, of course, I am your host, the man they call Ghost. And once again, folks, I want to thank everybody for tuning in with me. Before we get started on anything else, I'd like to remind everybody, please spread this show link around like wildfire, all right? Spread it throughout the internets and throughout the world. And let everybody know that True Capitalist Radio is in effect and in the house. And we are live every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Texas Time, right here on the official website of the True Capitalist Radio broadcast, folks. And I love being independent now. That's right, folks. The official website of the True Capitalist Radio is as simple as this. Type this in your browser, add this to your bookmarks, add this to your favorites, ghost.report. It's as simple as that, baby. Ghost.report. And I want to say, man, I've got people listening to me from all over the damn world, man. I mean, countries that I didn't even think have fucking internet connections. I'm not even kidding. So props to whoever you are listening to me, no matter where you are throughout the world. Cheers to you. Happy Baller Friday, baby. And you know, even though I don't have any alcoholic beverage, I do want to say cheers to everybody out there, no matter where you're listening to me in the world, baby. Capitalism or death, baby. Capitalism or death. And before we get into anything else, I'd like to ask everybody to please follow me on my only social media representation on the internets today, and that's on Gab, folks. Gab.ai, Gab. You can follow me on there under the name Politics Ghost. All one word, no underscores. Politics Ghost is the name to follow on Gab, folks. And anywhere else, in any other social media trying to represent me, bullshit. They're lying. They're fake and gay, okay? And secondly, folks, I want to say one more again, what's going on to everybody in the True Capitalist Radio chat room? What's going on? Happy Baller Friday! What's going on to the True Capitalist Radio chat room? Let's go ahead and give some shout-outs to everybody who's in there. What's going on to the 30-year-old boomer? The 30-year-old boomer. We got the aesthetic in the house. We've got, what is this, Australian Capitalist, Papa Shekels in the place. Birds of Prey, Black Star Try, Blasphemous Bastard, BP in the place, Carolina Capitalist. We got Distilling the Tard Wrangler, Esoteric Trinity. What's going on to Fish? Hans Uberlanda. We've got Holden Capitalist, Hoodie in the house. JD, Man Bear Pig, Nat, Sparked, Stagio. And what's going on to Still Waters? And what's going on to Ego Talk? What's going on, man? Anyway, thank you all for tuning in with me. I appreciate it. And once again, if you want to be a part of the True Capitalist Radio chat room, and remember, this is where we called the faggot that thinks he was QAnon. I don't want to say who he is. You can go ahead and go to ghost.report to get 411 on that, but I did it in the True Capitalist Radio chat room. And we do all kinds of internet tomfoolery on top of talking about crypto, on top of talking about all the political dope around the world, baby. Come on down and be a part of us, all right? We have literally just excommunicated all the enemy, all the autists, all the bronies. They are gone, all right? And it wasn't my choice. I mean, everybody in the True Capitalist Radio chat room picked up their pitchforks and their torches, and they were like, look, we're getting rid of all these goddamn fruit bowls. We're getting rid of them. We're getting rid of all of them. So, once again, I want to say to everybody, come on down. What's going on to Prince in the chat room? Come on down. All right? Be a part of the True Capitalist Radio chat room. All you got to do is go to my Gab right now. Go to my Gab. Check out my Gab. Politics Ghost. Once again, all one word, no underscores. Politics Ghost. And once you're there, click the subscribe button for premium content. Click the subscribe button for premium content, and once you do, go ahead and give me a private message on Gab, all right? Right after you click the subscribe button for premium content and go through all that rigmarole, give me a private message on Gab, and I will give you a private message back with an invitation to the True Capitalist Radio broadcast chat room. It's that damn simple, all right? Uh-oh, wait a minute. Well, hey, hold on. Hey, Distilling says that we could call some people in a little bit. Maybe we'll do that in a little bit, Distilling. We got a lot of things to talk about. Or maybe we can do it after the show. Maybe we can do some prank calling after the show. I'm telling you, we do all kinds of tomfoolery in there, man. If you're not a part of the True Capitalist Radio chat room, well then, by God, get in here. Get in here. You're missing out on all kinds of entertainment, all kinds of lulls, all kinds of shocking things. I can't talk about it. All you got to do is be a part of it, all right? So once again, go to my Gab account, Politics Ghost, all one word, no underscores, Politics Ghost, and click the subscribe button for premium content. And then once you do that, private message me on Gab, let me know your Discord chat name, and I will give you an invitation to the True Capitalist Radio chat room. I'm telling you that right damn now. Anyway, oh yeah, and by the way, before I move on, I want to remind everybody that we do have new merch on ghost.market. That's right, all you got to do is type in your browser right now, ghost.market. We've got new merch. I don't know if you've seen it, baby. It is clean as hell. I love it. It is ghost.report merch, and it is a picture of yours truly in the POTUS hair. Donald Trump's infamous hair, baby. You understand what I'm saying? And you can subtly show your support for Trump while people kind of clock the shirt and they're like, what is that? I don't understand what that is. What is a ghost dot report? What is that? Let me go ahead and put that on my phone. And then they're going to be shocked. And they should be shocked, because this right here, if you're listening to the sound of my voice, you're listening to the political underground. Do you understand that? You are listening to the political underground. Jesus Christ. Anyway, now that we've gotten that all out of the way, let's go ahead and continue with the broadcast. Let's talk a little bit about the holy fires in Southern California. Have you heard about these, folks? The Southern fires? The holy fires of Southern California? Well, folks, there are many, many miles of scorched earth because of a fire that was deliberately set by some asshole. Officials say his name was, Forrest Gordon Clark. Forrest Gordon Clark, 51 years old, allegedly not only started the fire, but according to reports, he called threatening to start the fire, and then actually started the fire. So he's being charged with 2 counts of felony arson, 1 charge of threatening to terrorize. Now, why do I bring this up? Well, first of all, did you know that 2/3 of the state of California is under smoke? That's how bad these holy fires in Southern California truly are. That's how bad they are. 2/3 of the state of California under smoke. And it's because of one asshole, some 51-year-old asshole named Forrest Gordon Clark. Now, why am I bringing this up, folks? Folks, Forrest Gordon Clark. Listen to me very closely. Forrest Gordon Clark, the guy who is suspected in starting the Southern California holy fires, is a QAnon follower. Oh, I told you it was going this direction. Everybody who's been listening to my broadcast, I told you this QAnon thing was going to go this direction. That's why we doxed this faggot. That's why we tried to cut this QAnon crap off at the pass. But it was too late. Because now the media has taken hold of it, and now that the media has taken hold of it, you've got people susceptible and thinking, wow, this QAnon thing's for real? Let me take a look. And they do a goddamn Google search, they do a YouTube search, and see nothing but the propaganda that has been posted by the group that is fucking QAnon. And for you all that don't know, it's these calm before the storm assholes that are connected to James Corsi. Yeah, Dr. James Corsi. So, look, I don't want to spend too much time on this subject. I just want to remind everybody that I did tell you that this QAnon crap was going to go into the realm of committing terrorism. And I'm still going by, because I made this prediction last Friday. In the next 3 weeks, we are going to see some kind of a false flag in which a journalist or journalists are going to be killed. And they're going to blame QAnon for it, folks. They're going to blame QAnon for it. I said this for the past several shows. And take a look. We already have our first terrorist act relating to QAnon. Remember before this, I told you that there was a box that was placed at the headquarters of one Maxine Waters that said something to the effect of, "Hope you like the anthrax, signed QAnon." So, folks, I told you that this QAnon crap was going to go this direction. And I'm telling you, the reason it's going to go this direction is because it's meant to discredit Trump. It undermines Trump in so many capacities. Like I said, the story of QAnon is the fact that this QAnon character is supposed to be a military intelligence officer that, quote, tapped Trump to run for office to avoid a coup d'etat, and now this QAnon character has got his hand up the ass of the president. Completely undermining the fact that the president doesn't make his own decisions and that he's doing things at the behest of someone else, etc. Pretty goddamn bad. All right? Pretty goddamn bad, for Christ's sake. Now, I'm telling you this right now, folks. We on the right have to disown this whole QAnon nonsense. And if you see these people at Trump rallies, tell them to piss off. Because they are going to affect the election. Because as I stated, just think about people who aren't as aware of all the political things that people that listen to this broadcast or the QAnon tards. Just imagine Mr. and Mrs. Joe Sixpack looking at this. And they take a look at the left, and what are they doing on the left? They're protesting. They're crying. They're autistically screeching. You know, they're pissing and moaning because they lost. And losing and crying and being emotional, that is human. I mean, there is an understanding, even though it's ridiculous, but Joe Sixpack, Mr. and Mrs. Joe Sixpack can understand the leftist in the way they're acting because it's human emotionalism. They can justify it in their heads. But when they see this QAnon nonsense, Mr. and Mrs. Joe Sixpack are saying the following things. They're like, wait a minute, hold on just a second. I thought the Republicans were in charge of the executive branch. I thought the Republicans were in charge of the Congress. And now we got the Republicans in charge of the damn Supreme Court. Why are they coming out here making all these conspiracy theories? Or if they don't believe that, they'll be like, well, what is this? I thought Trump was in charge. He's not making his own decisions. I mean, I'm telling you, folks, Mr. and Mrs. Joe Sixpack are going to look on the right, and they're going to look at QAnon. They're going to look at alt-right idiots, white nationalists, and they're going to look at that and say, this was the culmination of Republicans taking power? This crap? This irrationality? This conspiratorial mindset? That's what Mr. and Mrs. Joe Sixpack are going to think. And you know what? They're going to go vote for the Democrats. Because in their mind, they're thinking, man, I don't understand. The Republicans are in charge. Why are they still complaining? Why are they still marching in Charlottesville? Why are they going out there creating this QAnon and stuff? We got to go ahead and put some new blood in there, honey. The next time we go and vote, we're voting for Democrats. We got to throw some new blood in there. Folks, I've been around this political system long enough to understand that this is what happens. This is what happens. That's why everybody is expecting the Democrats to win, because that's traditionally what happens. Whenever you have a sweep in the executive and the legislative branches, and they've had a few years to govern, and they don't do what they're supposed to do, that's when the people are like, well, you know what? We're throwing the Democrats back in. This is political science. And what did I tell you all that listen to me? What is political science? Political science is the ability to control the perception of a mass people in a geographic area. That is political science. And that's what everybody is trying to do right now at every capacity. They are trying to control the perception of a mass in a geographic area. And I'm telling you, folks, they're going to use this QAnon. Even WikiLeaks said that QAnon is a dangerous, dangerous internet meme come to life. It is a dangerous internet troll come to life, I should say. And that it could be, quote, usurped by anyone. And I think that's what's happened. It's been usurped by, if you want my opinion, the mainstream media. They are using it at every fucking turn possible to degrade and to make Trump supporters look like a bunch of lunatics. Anyway, folks, I think this is just the beginning, you know? Like I said, this puts the idea, one more again, puts the idea of a crazy QAnon terrorist in the heads already. The fact that this asshole, this 51-year-old Forrest Gordon Clark, was a QAnon supporter, and the media is now incepting it in the brains of the masses that, oh, QAnon, fire, terrorism. It's already going into the masses' heads. This is an inception. And conveniently, if you look into this guy, this Forrest Gordon Clark, he conveniently, who does he listen to? Alex Jones. He believes in Agenda 21. And, you know, even though Agenda 21 is an absolute fact, the media pretended in the same article when talking about this guy who set the holy fires in Southern California, they talked about Agenda 21 as if it was a joke, as if it was a conspiracy theory. You can look this up. You can Google up Agenda 21. It's a United Nations initiative, you dicks. He also questioned 9/11. He also questioned Sandy Hook. I mean, do you understand what they're trying to incept here with this suspect or so-called suspect that is supposedly behind the Southern California fires right now? Do you see what they're trying to incept into the American mind? I'm telling you, I am standing by my prediction that there will be journalist or a journalist or one or several journalists killed because it's a false flag, and maybe they will be killed, maybe they won't. But it will be because of QAnon, and we on the right have to distance ourselves from QAnon as much as we possibly can. Because once they pull off this false flag, and once a journalist or journalists, plural, once they're either murdered on camera, murdered in front of a goddamn news set, once this happens, it's going to shock America, and it's going to curb freedom of speech. They're already doing it now, folks. They just need a false flag like a killed journalist to justify censoring every goddamn thing beyond the internet. So this is what it's going to come down to, and I repeat, everyone on the right needs to just separate themselves from QAnon. I mean, this is a lunatic, ridiculous idea. It's a ridiculous concept, and I can't believe people believe it. But you know what? It's going to cost us. And I repeat, those of us on the right, we have to shun these fucking people. Because I'm telling you, this right here, just take a look at the reports for yourself. They're incepting in the fucking mind of Mr. and Mrs. Joe Sixpack that anybody who is QAnon or a Trump supporter or listens to Alex Jones or believes in Agenda 21 or questions 9/11 or questions Sandy Hook, all these things have been in the media as of late. All this shit that encapsulates this fucking guy who allegedly fucking set the fires in Southern California, this all encapsulates this guy. So what does that mean? They're trying to incept this right here, the fact that you're a QAnon supporter, that you're a Trump supporter, that you listen to Alex Jones, that you believe in Agenda 21, that you question 9/11, that you question Sandy Hook. They're going to justify that as a means of not only suppression and censorship, but they're also going to justify that as crazy. You're crazy to believe in this. And I'm telling you, that right there is very, very dangerous, folks. Very dangerous. Now, let's go right into the next subject matter, because this kind of goes hand in hand. everybody now that Alex Jones has been banned from YouTube and Facebook and Spotify and LinkedIn and all, they're just literally trying to ban him from every social media everywhere. All of a sudden, we're supposed to just, oh, Alex is censored and we got to stop ourselves. We got to stop the campaign for 2018 midterms and we got to fight for Alex Jones and all this bullshit. Look, I'm going to be completely honest with you folks, okay? All right? It doesn't matter what you do. This internet is going to get censored. The internet is going to get censored. And you want to know why? Because, folks, the United States is the only country in the world that gives a shit about the freedom of speech. And you take a look at these oligarchs, these Silicon Valley overlords. They are in charge of entities like Facebook, like YouTube, that have billions of people, billions of members. And you see, folks, there are a mere 350 million people in America alone. That's it. 350 million. And not all 350 million are in Facebook or in YouTube. As a matter of fact, I think it's probably a small faction of those folks. So when you have Alex Jones and you have Americans trying to express their freedom of speech on a platform that's international, that's global, the idea of Constitution and freedom of speech becomes moot. And the reason it becomes moot, folks, is because more people outside the United States are members of YouTube and Google and Facebook more than people that are in the United States. So that's why, folks, the Silicon Valley oligarchs, these people in charge of the social media platforms, are censoring. Now, why are they justifying the censoring? Well, folks, I hate to say this. You have to thank the stalkers, the pedophiles, and the trolls. That's right. All right? That's right. I'm telling you this right now. You have to blame the trolls for causing this massive influx of censorship. Now, let me explain what I mean by this. Let's go back in time in TCR history, shall we, folks? All right? Now, I remember when 4chan and all those trolls from 4chan first found my broadcast back in 2009. All right? Back in 2009. And back in 2009, folks, most of the people on 4chan were a bunch of leftists. They're a bunch of leftists. And what they did is they utilized their little raiding in which they would call on 4chan to raid my show, and they would raid my show, and they would try to harass me, they would try to dox me, they would try to do everything they can to take me off of the air. But they couldn't do it, folks. All right? They could not do it because I'm telling you right now, I was not going to be silenced, and I was going to continue moving forward. And I realized the true motives of 4chan. And I think I've read this article before, but it bears repeating, folks, because I wrote this article in February of 2010. February 5th, 2010. And I'm going to go ahead and put it right now. Let's go ahead and put it on the Gab, okay, so people can see what I'm talking about, all right? All right. Let me go ahead and put blog about trolls. Now it's coming to pass, all right? Ghost. Now, what we're going to do here, I'm going to go ahead, take a look at my Gab. There is the goddamn article in which I talk about 4chan and its motives. And for you folks that, can't get to a Gab, let me go ahead and read this to you because it bears repeating, okay? The title of the article is Moot from 4chan Admits His Motives. I told you, idiots, these were leftist. But I told you these idiots were leftists, okay? Now I'm going to read this. It's a very short blog, but it bears repeating, okay? 2010, February. For those of you that have kept up with the show, I've been harassed and digitally terrorized by a variety of different groups linked to various websites. One of the websites in question, 4chan, a waste of antisocial anime nerds. Yeah, they were claiming anime back then. A wasteland of antisocial anime nerds that use their website for anonymous child porn exchanges and terrorist plots, such as school shootings, bomb threats, and online attacks. These people are the true and utter scum of the internet. People always email me asking me, who are these idiots on your show? For a while, I've been suggesting that these 4chaners and others that were harassing were leftist agitators who were probably paid to suppress my commentary. They've hacked my chat room, terrorized True Conservative fans, I was True Conservative Radio back then, and prank called my radio show, all in the name of denying my right to freedom of speech. Below is a clip of the founder from 4chan calling himself Moot, a.k.a. Christopher Poole, admitting on camera his true leftist motives. Now let me go ahead and put that. Let me go ahead and put that here. Hold on, let me go ahead and find it, and so that everyone on the internet that's listening to this broadcast can hear what the hell this idiot said. Now, this is the damn video I've got linked. This is what Moot, which is the guy who created 4chan, said back in 2008 about what 4chan and what he was doing was all about. Let's go ahead and roll it. Go ahead. Well, hold on. Don't do it yet, engineer. Turn it down a little bit. And let's go ahead and roll this. Once again, Moot from 4chan admitting the motives of 4chan and himself. Go ahead.
I think that the internet is a paradigm-shifting force that will integrate with the blogosphere and folksonomy, and it will leverage synergies between multinational corporations and different countries to provide the globalized environment that mankind so needs.
Now, did y'all hear that? All of you 4chaners that spent all these years wasting your fucking life on 4chan, all right, you heard it right from Moot's mouth himself. He was a globalist, and he was getting... What was he doing to you people? What was he actually doing? I mean, I find it funny that 4chan was able to pull off all this shit. I'm talking about school shootings, bomb threats, online attacks. They caused people to commit suicide. They stalked underage girls, etc. I mean, what did Christopher Poole, what did 4chan do to the people that used its service? Well, folks, let's be honest, and I know many of you may disagree with me and may not like what I'm going to say, but I'm going to say it. It turned you all into a bunch of nothing degenerates. And that's what 4chan did. It turned you all into a bunch of nothing internet, cartoon porn fetished, gamer degenerates. And you know, the reason I say this, folks, is because look at what's happening. Look at what's happening right now. All the censorship, all the people they're pulling offline. How do you think they know who to pull offline? How do you think they know who to censor? I mean, they first started censoring the Daily Stormer. Remember those stupid LARPing Jewish assholes thinking they were Nazis? How did they know to go after those guys? Because they were big 4chan posters. I mean, you dumb idiots never understood that 4chan was a honeypot. And why do you think now Moot, the guy who created 4chan, now works for Google? 4chan now, Moot from 4chan now works for Google. Now, why is he working for Google? Because he's selling each and every one of you out, you stupid morons. And another thing, 4chan has turned you all, once again, let's go back to this, into a bunch of degenerate nothings. I mean, case in point, take a look at how 4chaners refer to, quote, normies. Normies. And for you folks that don't know what normies is, that means that those that don't understand the 4chan linguistic degeneracy are so-called normies. I mean, do you understand what I'm saying here, folks? They have made generations, specifically of males, into nothing. Into shit-posting nothings. You know, the latest fucking meme out here is the 30-year-old boomer. The 30-year-old boomer is the big latest meme out here. Oh, I'm a 30-year-old boomer. Here's my white Monster can while I'm sitting here. I'm a 30-year-old boomer. Do you know what that fucking stupid shit represents? The 30-year-old boomer meme represents that you're becoming a lot like your parents because, you bought a house. And instead of waking up Saturday morning and looking at Saturday morning cartoons, you got to do your fucking lawn on your own fucking property. And that makes you a 30-year-old boomer. Oh, what? You trade stocks? Oh, my God, you're a 30-year-old boomer. Do you understand what I'm saying? The 4chan culture, what it has done, it has made being something, being productive, something to laugh at, something to shun, something to meme. Normies and 30-year-old boomers, for Christ's sake, man. I mean, how in the hell can you dumb young people be so fucking stupid? Seriously, how can you young people be so fucking dumb? You know, folks, the baby boomers were very self-aware at a very young age. At like 18 years old, they were very self-aware. They were very politically aware. And ever since the summer of '69, when they had the Summer of Love and Woodstock and all this other nonsense, ever since then, they've taken control of institutions of authority. They've taken control of institutions of authority. And they took control of them beginning in the 70s. And they have had control of those systems all the way up to now. Now, what are you young people doing? Huh? What are you young people doing besides wasting your fucking lives away? Looking on the internet, playing video games, waxing your carrot to cartoons, making yourselves throwbacks in immaturity. I mean, what are you people doing to yourselves? I mean, folks, where are the Generation X, the Generation Y, the Generation Next, the Generation Z, the Millennials? Where are all these so-called generations, and why haven't they taken control of any institution of authority? Any! At the fucking government level, at the corporate level, at the social level, at the non-profit level, at any fucking level. No, you take a look at the leadership around everywhere. It's all baby boomers. Take a look at the leadership of the political parties. They're a bunch of baby boomers. And they've had control ever since the 70s. And you morons that are 4chaners and that meme about, normies and, look, you're a 30-year-old boomer. You trade stocks. You cut your own lawn on your own property. So you're stupid. You're a 30-year-old boomer. I mean, how stupid can you people be? How stupid can you young people be? I am disappointed in each and every young person in this country. In Western civilization, on top of that. If you're under the age of 40, you should be ashamed of yourself. Because y'all have done nothing. Alright? You all have done nothing to take control of the authority, the institutions of authority that control not only this country, but other countries. What the fuck are you fucking young people waiting for? Why are you being so docile? Why are you sitting there waxing your carrot? Why are you sitting there fucking getting your thumbs bruised playing fucking useless video games? Why are you out here being marketing campaign agents without getting paid for it, posting fucking memes of fucking white monster cans and saying, 30-year-old boomer, 30-year-old boomer, you cut your own grass in your own property. That makes you stupid. Oh, you trade stocks. That means you're a fucking idiot. Oh my God, you're making your own money. That means you're a normie. Jesus fucking Christ, man. And I'm telling you, this is why we are going to see censorship throughout the internet. Censorship throughout the internet. And there's nothing that anyone can do about it. Because in the end, this virtual world encompasses the world. And the United States, while we're still around, is the only country that cares about freedom of speech. And, so what? There's a couple of Americans that have their speech infringed upon. What difference does it make? You people don't care. I mean, you people don't care. I mean, all they got to do is suppress people on YouTube, and people will find someone else. That's what Alex Jones is finding out. Alex Jones is finding out that his brand isn't as powerful as it is or as it was prior to being taken off of the YouTube network. And I'm going to be honest with you, it's Alex Jones's fault. I mean, am I supposed to cry? Am I supposed to cry that Alex Jones' $300 million InfoWars operation is going to be hit because the 10 or 20 million that he got from YouTube video advertising is going to be taken away from him? I mean, am I supposed to cry for this? And this just goes to show you that the real reason why Alex Jones and all these right-wing e-celebs, the whole reason why they're bitching and moaning about censorship is because money is being taken out of their pockets. And you see, the leftists know this. The leftists know that all you've got to do to defeat the right's political will, especially those that are influential on the internet, is to just take away their monetary gain. And if you take away their monetary gain, they have no political will. And I'm telling you, folks, they've tried to do that to me for the past several years. And you know what? I'm still going. I'm not making any fucking money whatsoever on this broadcast. All right? I'm fucking down, I don't know how many thousands of dollars on this broadcast, but the reason I keep doing it is because I'm politically motivated. I'm not motivated by the monetary value of the substance that I'm conveying on this fucking broadcast. All right? I'm motivated by the political convictions that I believe. I'm not out here worried about the monetary value or the monetary gain of my e-celeb status. And that right there, folks, is how they're going to truly silence the right. They're going to silence the right because most of the right are a bunch of folks that think that they're political when they're actually doing nothing but using politics to make a living. And now that these venues and I'm telling you, folks, it's not about free speech when it comes to these corporations. Facebook, Google, Twitter, these are global corporations. They have members and users that far surpass the number of American people that are on this service. Far surpass. So there's no need for any corporation to oblige any kind of goddamn freedom of speech. And let's just say, for the sake of argument, that Donald Trump decided to throw some antitrust lawsuits on these sons of bitches. You know what they're going to do? They're going to go right to China. They're going to go right to another country in which not only will their assets be protected, but they can continue to be censorship happy all night long. And why is that, folks? Because there's more people outside the United States that use these services than opposed to the people that are inside the United States. So all of you people that are out here that are claiming that you need to fight, you need to do this, and you need to say, I've been hearing what, the Internet Bill of Rights? Are you fucking kidding me? The Internet Bill of Rights? What the fuck do you people know about a Bill of Rights? You can't even protect yours in America, you ungrateful fucks! And you're fucking sitting here talking about an Internet Bill of Rights. You can't even protect the ones that are here that are supposed to protect you in real life, you stupid lazy faggots! Oh, we need an Internet Bill of Rights. Shut the fuck up. You don't need shit from Shinola. And as far as I'm concerned, I have mixed feelings. All right? I've got mixed feelings about the whole scenario, about a potential all-out censorship about the Internet. Because I'm telling you, man, I was on the Internet when the whole fucking thing began. I was on the Internet since 1994. And I've seen the Internet evolve into the fucking wasteland that it is today. Back in those days when I was on the Internet in 94, 95, 96, many of us that were on there, which wasn't many. I mean, you either belonged to a university, you were a fucking scientist, you were a computer science major, you were a professor, you belonged to the military. I mean, it was a very small amount of people on the Internet at that time. And at the time, we thought, man, I mean, we can just have information at our fingertips. I mean, the fact that we have libraries, millions of years of reading of libraries at our fingertips, we're going to enhance human civilization. Human civilization is going to get smarter. It's going to get brighter. It's going to be limitless. And we were very excited about the Internet back in those days, man. And I miss those days. I wish I could take a time machine back and go into those days of the Internets when the only people that were on the Internet were smart people. Smart people or rich people. Hey, I'm just saying, it was a better Internet back then. And everybody back then cared about the facilitation of information. And now, what has the Internet become? It has become an Internet wasteland of groupthink mentality. I mean, now on the Internet, what used to be, let's say you're some sick maniac who likes to whack off to fucking cartoon children. Now, because of the Internet, you can find a whole community of these sick pedophile bastards and hang with them and kick it with them and communicate with them, making you believe that you whacking off to the sick cartoon porn is perfectly normal. I mean, this is what the Internet has done. It has become a also playground for sexual predators to try to lure children into sexual precarious situations. It's also a place where people go on social media to go look for their old girlfriend, their old boyfriend from 10, 15, 20 years ago to try to rekindle relationships. It's a place where gays can go and find a cock or an ass within their vicinity. I mean, it's a kind of place where people on 4chan and 8chan can commiserate with each other and actually create an environment in which degeneracy is not just embraced, it is encompassed with their ways of life. And that's why I keep telling each and every one of you, man. And look, I remember you people back in 2009 from 4chan. Those guys from 4chan in 2009 were smart. There were some smart people. There was no autists back then. There wasn't. I talked to these people. All right? There was no autists back then. They were all smart. What the fuck happened? Why haven't none of you Generation Xers, Generation Yers, Generation Z, Generation Next, the Millennials, why haven't none of you taken control of the institutions of power? Why haven't any of you, even at a fucking corporate level, how come none of you have done anything with your lives? Done nothing. Not one of you. I mean, you know, we've got millennials that are prospering outside the United States. I mean, look at Mohammed bin Salman. That's a millennial who's doing something. Look at fat Kim Jong-un. And regardless of how they attain power, they're attaining power. They're influencing their sphere of influence. What the fuck is your problem? And I'm not just talking about one specific generation. I'm talking about all the generations after the fucking baby boomers. What the fuck is your fucking problem? Oh, but you know what? You're a 30-year-old boomer, man. You know what I mean? You're acting like your parents now, you fucking idiot. Yeah. You're a 30-year-old boomer. Yeah, go ahead. You're an idiot for trading stocks. Yeah, you're an idiot for buying your own property and mowing your own lawn. You're an idiot. No, my young people, you are the fucking idiots. And that's why 80% of America's wealth resides in the baby boomers' hands. And you know what? They ain't going to leave you fucking idiots nothing. I mean, maybe some of your parents cared about you, and maybe they'll leave you a piece of property. Maybe they'll leave you a little money. But I doubt it. I mean, you've got these baby boomers now selling out their fucking life insurance. Selling their life insurance. Selling reverse mortgages on their homes. But no, hey, it's funny, right? A 30-year-old boomer. It's funny, right? Yeah. 4chan, 40-year-old boomer. Yeah. Fucking idiots. And I'm telling you, I'm going to be honest with you. I think that this right here, America as we know it, Donald Trump, and hopefully this man is a 2-term president. This, and I'm telling you, mark my words. I want you to mark my words right now. This is going to be the last time that anybody in this country is going to be able to make the amount of money necessary to either be a part of the table of this whole globalist system that is obviously going to continue to emerge and has all these stupid simpletons thinking that, open borders, globalism, You've got just this limited time left to get as much money and as many assets and as much as you can to have a seat at the table. And if not a seat at the table, at least be a part of the petty bourgeoisie. The petty bourgeoisie. And if you don't take advantage of this last economic burst that is going to happen for America, then you have just screwed yourself. Because I will tell you folks, and this is a man who's lived a long life, I don't see any fucking pot of gold at the end of the Trump rainbow. Who's going to sustain Trump's policies and his initiative? Who's going to have the fucking stress resilience and the will to be able to do what he's done? You know that he's the last of his breed. Everybody who is a part of his elite circles wants socialism. They want globalism. They want communism. That's what they want. That's what they're gearing towards. So I'm telling you, and I'm warning each and every one of you right now, if you don't take advantage and make as much money as you can in the Trump administration, then you are doing nothing but hurting yourself, and you're setting yourself up to be nothing more than one of the serfs that are going to be herded like cattle. Because that's what they want. That's what they want. I mean, we all know that China is the model that the globalists want. They want every goddamn country or union. Remember, we're seeing unions pop up out of nowhere. European Union, the African Union. And remember, the reason the UK wants Brexit is because they want their own union. The Kanzuk Union. Canada, New Zealand, Australia, the UK. And when all these unions are set up, this is the kind of government they want. They want the Chinese government. They want the way the Chinese are running their people. And folks, if you take a look at YouTube videos of Americans that are in China, I showed the Inner Circle, or I think the True Capitalist Radio chat room, a clip in which an American was out in China and apparently working there. And I guess he pushed a Chinese native or something out of the way, and the Chinese native said, "Hey, how could you do this, you animal? This is not how we act in civil China. You see, this isn't America where you can act like an animal." I mean, do you understand? These people in China believe that they're acting like the most civil human race on the planet. This is the same group of people that watched, and you can YouTube video this disgusting footage, watched a 3-year-old get run over on the street multiple times and had countless Chinese people walking and looking at it as if it was a fucking freak show before anybody even attempted to see what was going on. This is the kind of soullessness that they want to bring upon the masses of people in this world. And they've already close to done it. I mean, look at you all embracing degeneracy. And look, some of you fucking faggots in the chat room think it's funny. You think it's a fucking joke. Yeah, it ain't gonna be a fucking joke, man, when you're a 40-year-old fucking piece of loser shit that didn't listen to ghosts and make as much as you can, and instead decided to go out and think that you know fucking everything. And you're gonna find yourself here in a position after Trump, unless you fucking bawl until you fall, and I'm talking about becoming an unbelievable capitalist, you're going to find yourself in a position where you cannot even support yourself, but support your family. And that's the thing, you fucking faggots out here that are young people, you people are just coming in chicks and having fucking kids like it's no big deal, not even thinking about how you're going to raise that child, whether you have enough money to sustain the raising of that child, whether or not you're mentally stable enough to raise that child. But what difference does it make, huh? Yeah, what difference does it make? It's just a kid. Who cares? I mean, hey, black chicks abort 20 million of them since 1973. Who gives a shit, right? Fucking idiots. Anyway, we are now in the third and final hour of the True Capitalist Radio broadcast. And, of course, I am your host, the man they call Ghost. And once again, folks, I want to thank everybody for tuning in with me. Before we get started on anything else, I'd like to remind everybody to please spread this show link around like wildfire and let everybody know that True Capitalist Radio is in effect and in the house. And we are live every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, right here on the official website of the True Capitalist Radio broadcast. And I love being independent now. I love being independent now. Ghost.report. All right? Ghost.report. Just type that in your browser, add that to your favorites, add that to your bookmarks, Ghost.report. And moreover, folks, if you want to be a part of the True Capitalist Radio chat room, all you got to do, it's as simple as this, folks, okay? Listen, go to my Gab, check out my Gab right now, all right? And click the subscribe button for premium content, all right? All right, click the subscribe button for premium content, and once you do, go ahead and private message me on Gab and let me know your Discord chat name, and I will give you a private message with a link to the True Capitalist Radio chat room. It's that simple. And moreover, I do want to say that anyone who's out there that's listening that wants to, support the show in any means possible, because we are being, we've been demonetized from Blog Talk Radio. They're trying to stop us. They're trying to prevent us from, doing anything as it pertains to broadcasting and telling folks the truth. Take a look at the cryptocurrency wishing well and throw something in there if you do have a chance and if you do appreciate the fucking content, all right? Anyway, let's continue. Once again, folks, I do want to say that the reason that they're censoring Alex Jones and all the right-wing folks first is because they know that these right-wing e-celebs, once you take away their monetization, they have no political will. They have no political will. And that's what's happening to Alex Jones. Did you see this? I mean, Alex Jones looks like he's crumbling. And the reason is, and I'm going to be perfectly honest, and this is my opinion on Alex Jones, okay? But I think Alex Jones has bitten off way more than he can chew. And I'm not talking about him and his operation. Well, yeah, I guess I am talking about him and his operation. But lest we forget, everybody who's out here backing up Alex Jones, lest we forget that he was in a divorce proceeding, or actually a child custody proceeding, that in that child custody proceeding, folks, he admitted that he is a character and what he says on his show is not real. His lawyer, quote, no reasonable person would take him seriously. You know? No reason. That's his lawyer. That's in the fucking child custody proceedings. That no reasonable person would take Alex Jones seriously. And yet he's out here trying to tell us to go and what? We're supposed to stop what we're doing so that he can come back on the air and continue to make revenue. It's not how it works, Alex, okay? I mean, in my opinion, I think you've screwed over too many people for anyone to give a shit about you. Does everybody remember the money bomb? Does everybody remember that? Remember those money bombs that fucking Alex Jones would always host? We're going to host a money bomb, and we want as many people as you can that can support Alex Jones and the Info Warriors and the tip of the spear. Y'all remember that? I mean, he would just literally use his people to just go ahead and donate so that they can make this whatever operation. And you know, that's really why they're going after Alex Jones, folks, because he's trying to pass himself off as legitimate news, like a legitimate news organization, InfoWars news organization. But how can you sit here and pass yourself off as a legitimate news organization when you are saying in courts of law that no one, and this is your attorney, no reasonable person would take you serious, that you are a character that doesn't really mean what you say? Why exactly should anyone give a shit about you, Alex? I want to be completely honest with you. I liked Alex Jones when he was making videos, okay? Then he decided that he was going to be some kind of a DJ or something. And then, let's be honest, folks, when he, and you can fucking YouTube search all his goddamn old school goddamn videos, okay? You can Google search all of these sons of bitches. This guy has thrown shit on the wall just to see what sticks. I mean, man, Alex Jones has covered, you know, reptilian lizard men. I mean, he's covered, anything, you name it, Bohemian Grove, any kind of conspiracy, no matter how ridiculous it is, this guy covered it and tried to pass it off as it was real, and that's why, if you want my opinion, you've got people coming after Alex Jones, and they're saying, look, he's fake news. He's trying to pass himself off as a legitimate network. And in the court of law, he's saying that, well, I'm just a character. His fucking lawyer is saying no reasonable person would take him serious. But no, you all are taking him serious, huh? All you e-celebs out there are taking him serious. And like I said, folks, the reason is because the left is going to test these fuckers' political will. You all know I'm here. You know I'm still broadcasting. I mean what I say, and I say what I mean, and I believe my convictions to the soul, to the bullet hole. I'm not going to sit here and piss and moan. I'm continuing to convey the straight political dope. I'm continuing to convey capitalist ideas And that's what I'm going to continue to do. I'm politically motivated. They could take all the fucking means of making money away from me. I don't give a shit. I'm trying to do whatever I can in hopes of sparking synapses in the brains of people that are listening to this fucking broadcast. But no, now that Alex Jones, who's fucking ripped me off for fucking 10 years... But since Alex Jones got, he got cut off, we're supposed to care about his $300 million operation. Why don't you go have another money bomb, Alex? You know what, folks? I mean, I'm telling you, look, I don't mean to be shitting on Alex Jones, but, I mean, I strongly advise you, take a look at some YouTube videos of people who used to listen to him about 10 years ago. People who used to listen to him about 10 years ago, remember, he would always say, well, you got to get my filters, and you got to get freeze-dry food, and you got to go out there and live off the land. You got to make... Remember, he was the guy who perpetuated and peddled this fucking idea of prepping. You know, the preppers? Remember doomsday preppers? I mean, that's what this guy was all about. Remember, he would fucking sell and peddle all that shit. And believe it or not, there are people out there, folks, that actually took Alex Jones serious. I mean, so serious that they moved out in the middle of nowhere. They bought the filters. They bought the fucking freeze-dry food or whatever the fuck it is, the food that lasts for 20 years. They bought all that shit, lived like a prepper. And there was one guy I saw on YouTube who was talking against Alex Jones. He was like, I actually listened to Alex Jones, and I bought everything that he sold, and I went out in the middle of nowhere and, tried to live off the land and try to live like a prepper. And then after about 2 years of this, I realized, why am I doing this? I mean, okay, great, I survived the apocalypse. What the fuck am I going to do? And after 2 years living like a prepper, this guy realized that, I mean, who cares if he dies? I mean, he wants to at least die doing some shit. And inconveniently, Alex Jones forgot about those people, Anyway, let me move on. We got a lot more to talk about, and Jesus Christ, we only got 49 minutes left. Hey, did y'all hear about the shooting in Canada? Let's talk a little bit about international news here. That's right, folks. I've been telling you. Now, this isn't the 9/11-esque terrorist act that I was predicting was going to happen in Canada. I don't think this is it. This is one of many, because in my personal opinion, Canada, they're in serious trouble. Because Saudi Arabia, I think, is about to pull off something, and it's not going to be directly linked to Saudi Arabia, but believe me, they're in charge of the Jehudis that dumbass Justin Trudeau led into the country like it was no big deal. Now, for you folks that are unaware, Saudi Arabia and Canada haven't been getting along as of late because Canada decided that it was going to virtue signal like it always fucking does and decided to criticize Saudi Arabians' crackdown on women, specifically 2 women activists that have been arrested. And the Canadian ambassador to Saudi Arabia made this public, pissed off the Saudis. The Saudis kicked out the Canadian ambassador. And, man, the Saudis ain't bullshitting, because now that you got Justin Trudeau doubling down on this virtue signaling bullshit, the Saudis have said, look, we're selling off all of our Canadian assets. So all Saudi investors are selling off their Canadian assets. They're calling back all their students that are studying in Canada. They are cutting off any kind of health care for any Canadians living in Saudi Arabia. I mean, literally, Saudi Arabia is in a very precarious situation. All right? I mean, now you've got Justin Trudeau, Mr. fucking virtue signaler for the sake of political points, all of a sudden finding himself in a very precarious situation for virtue signaling, and now he wants America's help. Remember when he backstabbed America, backstabbed Donald Trump during that fucking G11, what was the fucking G7 summit? Remember that shit? Huh? You remember when Justin Trudeau backstabbed Donald Trump, and now cold connoisseur fucking Justin Trudeau wants Trump's help? Fuck you! Fuck you, Trudeau! You figure this shit out, you stupid cuck! You figure this shit out! You think you're so badass by virtue signaling every fucking opportunity you get. Well, this virtue signaling got you put in a fucking pickle, didn't it? Huh? And you know what? Canada is in a very precarious point, folks, because Canada has got Yehudis all over the country. They got Yehudis all over the country waiting to detonate themselves. Now, I know there's a lot of people saying to themselves, Ghost, why are you promoting Islamic terrorism on Canada? Well, let's not be stupid, shall we? This whole Islamic terrorist outfit that we've seen all over the world, even the one that inflicted damage on us in 2001, 9/11-2001, folks, this is our operation. This whole goddamn Al-Qaeda, it started with the Mujahideen in the Russian-Afghan war. And it went from the Mujahideen to this Al-Qaeda, and it transformed from Al-Qaeda to ISIS, the Islamic State in Syria. And I don't think it was a coincidence that ISIS was chosen for the name of this group. I think that y'all need to look up who the goddess Isis is and what she represents. But you all know at this point, folks, that our black operations at the CIA and other agency levels, they're the ones that control this Islamic terrorism all over the world. And the reason we know this is because Saudi Arabia funds all this all over the world. And Saudi Arabia, let's be honest, works very tightly with our CIA and with our black operations in the United States. Now, with that being said, folks, that's why I said that it was very easy for Trump to get rid of ISIS, because all he had to do was just end the operation. I mean, that's literally all he had to do. I mean, y'all remember when Barack Obama was in power and he was claiming that he couldn't stop ISIS and this and that? Bullshit. I mean, that's why General Michael Flynn is being prosecuted by Mueller. Because Michael Flynn was one of the first, and this was before Trump ran for president, he was one of the first generals to come out and publicly say that Obama purposely armed, trained, and funded ISIS. And what was ISIS doing? What was it directed to do at the time when Obama was in power? It was meant to overthrow secular governments in the Middle East. What was the point of overthrowing those secular governments? Causing the refugee crisis, which is now consolidating power within the EU. The EU allowed these Yehudis to come into their goddamn country to consolidate power. I mean, the municipal and local state governments of the EU can't handle this Yehudi influx, so where are they to resort to? None other than the super state itself, the European Union. And like most communists who centrally plan populations, the communists of the European Union thought they could kill 80 birds with one stone. Aside from them instilling a centralization of government due to this refugee crisis, it also enables this intermixing of races. Because the true goal of the refugee crisis in Europe is to eliminate the cultures that are the nation states that created the European Union. France, Germany, Sweden, etc. And what they're doing is they're allowing the Yehudis to rape and pillage all the women. That's why you're hearing all these rapes in Europe, and the authorities aren't doing a damn thing about it because they want more rapes. They want more rapes. They want an ethnic cleansing. I mean, they put the Yehudis there on purpose so that they can create a one European race. A one Europe, a European Union. There's no separation of Germans and French and Swedes and the other members of the European Union. No. Because of this influx of Yehudis, they're hoping that the Yehudis do so much fucking in the European Union that they turn fucking the European Union into Sicily. Yeah. Are y'all familiar with that story, Sicily? Well, if y'all haven't heard the story, let me give it to you really quick, okay? Sicily, believe it or not, they were much like the Italians up north. They had blonde hair, blue eyes, like most Europeans. But in Sicily, unfortunately, it's in the middle of the Mediterranean, and it is a small island. And at one part of time in history, the Moors moved in, and they conquered Sicily. And when the Moors conquered Sicily, they did so much fucking that they changed the bloodline forever. That's why blonde hair and blue eyes turned to black hair and dark skin. And that's why Sicilians are way different. They're a different breed of Italian. I mean, that's where the Italian mob comes from. Remember Sicily? That's why they want to make sure, if you're a part of the goddamn Italian mafia, that your bloodline goes back to the old country of Sicily. That's what the European Union wants to do with the nation states that comprise the European Union. They want to bring in the Yehudis and have them do so much fucking that they change the bloodline of all the European races forever. Because that is an adherent to the Communist Manifesto. That's what Marx wrote. There is no God, there is no culture, there is no identity, there is only the dictatorship of the proletariat. There is only the state. Anyway, the reason I went on this soliloquy, folks, is because I was talking about why I'm predicting a terrorist act on Canada, and it probably will have a Yehudi face on it, and why it's directly correlated with this international squabble it has with Saudi Arabia. Now, once again, it was so easy for Donald Trump to crush, quote-unquote, ISIS. Because, as I stated, folks, ISIS was a CIA operation, and all the president had to do was cancel their fucking contract. And that's why, after the president came in, he wiped out ISIS. You don't even hear from them anymore. Now, what are these ISIS or these Yehudi fighters that are directed by the CIA doing now? Well, folks, obviously, they are now in Canada because this dumbass Trudeau thought that he could be a virtue signaler, and once Donald Trump became president and Donald Trump started cracking down on the border, Justin Trudeau said, "Hey, come out to Canada, eh? Come over here to Canada. It doesn't matter. We'll go ahead. We'll let you into the country, eh?" And everybody took him up on that offer. I think I said this on the last broadcast. The arena in which Bruce Jenner, now Caitlyn Jenner, won a gold medal for the decathlon, that arena is now being used by the Canadian government to house refugees. And you don't think that the Saudi Arabians have, like, sleeper cells involved? I'm just telling you, man. I'm just telling you, now we're repositioning the CIA, because really, let's be honest, the CIA was using its Muslim assets against the United States. And you could tell, I mean, just by all the terrorism we had, you could tell by the direction that the wars that happened after 9/11, etc. But now that we have Trump in office, we are now reorganizing those Muslim terrorist assets and not using them against the American people anymore. We are now using our Muslim assets in the black operations at the CIA and other black operative levels on people that are thinking they can flex nuts with America. And Canada is one of them. And I would not be surprised if we see a lot more terrorism out of Canada, because if you want my opinion, I think Trump told Saudi Arabia, open season on Canada. Canada wants to treat us like this, and I'm glad Trump is doing this to Canada, because I've said this all along about Canada, that they talk mad shit about everybody all over the world. because they're in the backs of America. Well, now their little prime minister faggot, Justin Trudeau, just wrote a fucking check his country can't cash. And this little shooting in Fredericton, fucking New Brunswick, all right, who shot 4 people dead, 2 of them officers. They belong to the Fredericton police force. The 2 officers were Lawrence Robert Costello, 45 years old, and Sarah May Helen Burns, 43. Now, conveniently enough, folks, we don't know who the goddamn suspect is. All we know is that he's 48 years old and he has not been publicly identified. You want to know why? Because it's going to throw egg on the face once again of Justin Trudeau if it's another one of a la snack bars, which is probably the case. And lest we forget, 4 years ago in this same New Brunswick region, there was a shooting in Moncton shootings, 2014. Unfortunately, that had nothing to do with Yehudis. It was just a disgruntled leaf that was a little, I don't know, out there. Probably didn't have too much fucking sun. You know, they don't have too much sun out there in Canada. But I'm telling you, folks, this right here is just the beginning. I think Canada is going to see massive terrorism, and the reason is because of their faggot fucking prime minister thinking that they can flex nuts with America, thinking that he is something on the world stage. He's going to find out very conveniently that he isn't. So mark my words. I've said this on the last show, and I'll predict it on this show. There will be, in the next several months, a 9/11 style attack in Canada, unless Justin Trudeau, figures out a way to suck the schlongs of the fucking Saudis, which I doubt. But I personally believe that we're going to see a major 9/11 style attack on Canada. And don't think that Saudi Arabia has nothing to do with it. That's all I'm saying, okay? I mean, that's why Trump's like, look, attack, all right? Saudi Arabia, these fucking Canucks want to sit here. They want to betray me. I mean, fucking dumbass Justin Trudeau wants to say something in my face, and then when I leave the damn G7 summit, he wants to sit here and act like he's flexing nuts. Bullshit. Let's show these fucking Canadians that they're just as vulnerable as anybody else. And I want to be honest with you, no offense to the Canadians out there. No, I got some Canadian fans and shit, but I will never, and I repeat, I will never forget when you assholes booed the national anthem after 9/11 at that fucking hockey game. Y'all remember that shit? I remember it! I remember it like it was yesterday! Right after the 9/11 2001 attacks. It wasn't but a week later we were you fucking Canucks were hosting some goddamn hockey game in which they were not only airing the Canadian national anthem, but also the American national anthem. And you fucking Leafs, you moose-humping Canucks, booed the national anthem. Well, you know what? It's coming back around to you Canucks. And when you all are hit up on a 9/11 style attack because of your stupid, dumb prime minister, I'm going to boo your fucking national anthem on this broadcast. You fucking faggots. Never gonna forget that shit. Never. Never. Now, speaking of which, let me move on to another subject matter. Did y'all remember me last show, episode number, what are we on, 302? Episode 302 was the last episode. Remember when I said that we, as American foreign policy, are trying to antagonize China? We're flexing nuts on China. And didn't I tell you that China was going to have a Muslim problem here in the near future? Didn't y'all hear me say that in 602? If not, go back to the fucking archive at ghost.report and listen to it for yourself. I fucking said it. I said that China was going to have a Muslim problem here in the near future, and guess what? It's happening. And do you think this is a convenience? I mean, I told you folks on the last show that China was going to have a Muslim problem. And today, the Muslim problem arises. Now, am I QAnon, huh, faggots? Am I QAnon for predicting that? And for those that don't know, right now, as we speak, thousands of Chinese, I used to think they were called Uyghurs. I'm not kidding. They're called Uyghurs. I'm not kidding. This is the Muslims in China. This is what they call themselves. I'm not kidding. This is the correct pronunciation. Uyghurs. Uyghurs. I'm not joking around. That is a Chinese Muslim, the Uyghurs. Now, thousands of Uyghurs are standing in defiance against the Chinese government because they are wanting to demolish this mosque called the Waihu Grand Mosque in Ningxia, China, which is in the northwest region of China. Oh, man. Excuse me. Jesus Christ. What am I doing, a Hillary Clinton moment, for Christ's sake? Let me get some more tea here. Good God. Did I really need to do that in the middle of the fucking show? Good God. Anyway, I don't mean to sound like Hillary Clinton there for a second, but anyway, thousands of Uyghurs stand in defiant protest against the Chinese government's demolition of the Waihu Grand Mosque in Ningxia, China. And that was in northwest China region. Now, as that's happening, because we don't know what the hell's going to happen to the Uyghurs that are out here protesting against the Chinese government. And my apologies for coughing, for Christ's sake. I mean, I literally talk all the fucking time. If I'm not talking on here, I'm talking on the goddamn chat rooms, etc. So occasionally you'll have a little bit of a slip-up like that, so my apologies. But once again, we shall see what the Chinese are going to do to these Uyghurs. What are they going to do? Are they going to mow them down like they were in Tiananmen Square? Are they going to mow down the Uyghurs like they did at Tiananmen Square? And by the way, as this news of these thousands of Uyghurs standing in defiance in front of the Waihu Grand Mosque in Ningxia, China, I don't know if you've noticed, but today the United Nations put out a report. And the United Nations committee that put out this report is the United Nations Committee on the Elimination of Discrimination. I've never heard of that committee, but they put out this report that states that China is putting millions of Uyghurs into re-education camps. And if you don't believe me, why don't you take a look right now? Google search UN Uyghurs, and this is how you spell Uyghurs, by the way. Uyghurs. All right, Uyghurs. That's how you spell. I'm not even kidding. That's how you pronounce it. I thought it was the Igors. No, it's the Uyghurs. Okay. So anyway, on the same day as these thousands of Uyghurs stand in defiant protest as the Chinese threaten to demolish their fucking mosque, the UN Committee on the Elimination of Discrimination puts out a report that China has millions of Uyghurs in re-education camps. Now, folks, if you take a look at some of the comments on some of these articles that are put up, like I said, Google right now UN Uyghurs, and you'll see what I'm talking about. There are many people asking in the damn comments section, where are the Muslims from Saudi Arabia? Where are the Muslims from Pakistan? Where are the Muslims to stop this? And it's already starting, folks. This is not a coincidence. I mean, how in the goddamn hell did I know that China was going to have a Muslim problem in the near future? Because, folks, this is a change in foreign policy. And now what we're going to use is we're going to use our assets within the Islamic black operations arena, and we're going to use them to fight people who think that they can disrespect us on the world stage. Now, we just talked about Canada and how we suck Saudi Arabia on them. Now, I told you that on the last show that the 2000 I told you on the last show in episode 602 that China was going to have its own Islamic problem. And now that the United Nations has put out this report that millions of Chinese Uyghurs are in re-education camps, that's going to draw all the jihadists and all the Yehudis into neighboring countries of China, trying to infiltrate China so that they can free the Uyghurs. And believe me, this is going to happen, okay? This is going to happen. I mean, how do you think I was able to predict this stuff, man? I know international relations, baby. I was educated in this shit. Now, once again, why is this happening? Why are we unleashing Muslim assets in a black operative level on Canada, on China? Because I'm telling you, folks, we're going to make these people submit to the United States capitalists, whether it's economic or through warfare. And I told you on the last broadcast, this is how international relations, this is how foreign policy is made. You people don't understand that lives are nothing when it comes to people who create foreign policy. I mean, just take a look at the guys who've made foreign policy. Take a look at Zbigniew Brzezinski. You know, Zbigniew Brzezinski was the man who quoted the following. 200 years ago, it was a lot easier to control 1 million people than it was to physically kill 1 million people. Today, it is infinitely easier to kill 1 million people than it is to control 1 million people. And as sick and as demented as that sounds, that's how foreign policy makers create foreign policy. I mean, people are but collateral damage. And the goal of international relations and foreign policy is to advance your nation state's influence throughout the international community. And not to mention sustaining the continuity of your nation state's existence for an indefinite amount of time. And that's what foreign policy is about. And we all know that China has a China 2025 policy in which they believe that they're going to be the world superpower by 2025. I mean, did y'all remember 2006? Actually, I think it was 2000. No, it was the 2016 January Davos, Switzerland World Economic Forum when Xi Jinping promised the elites at the World Economic Forum that he and the Chinese will lead the New World Order into the future, that he will lead globalism. If y'all have not heard that speech, I strongly advise you all to hear the Xi Jinping speech in 2016 at the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland. And by the way, the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland is a meeting that happens every year around January where the elites of the elites in corporations, in Wall Street, in business get together and basically discuss what direction the world is going to take financially. And that's why you had Xi Jinping that year stating that the Chinese will bring in the New World Order and the Chinese will lead everyone into that New World Order. Take a look at it, I'm telling you. I'm just saying. Now, once again, I said on the last episode that China was going to have its own Muslim problem. And believe me, it's going to get worse. They are going to demolish this mosque, and they're going to kill a lot of Uyghurs. They're going to kill a lot of Uyghurs, and the Muslims are going to get unbelievably pissed off, and they're going to come from far and wide, probably in Afghanistan and Pakistan, to penetrate the borders of China to try to basically destabilize the country. And why are we doing this? Because it's foreign policy, baby. Because China's flexing nuts. China thinks that because we want to renegotiate our trade deal, China thinks that we have no right to do so, and that we should just continue with this off-balance trade deal of $600 billion that we send to the Chinese on an annual basis. They believe that that's all we're good for, that we're supposed to do this shit. And just like we sent Saudi Arabia to Canada, I'm telling you this right now, we're sending our Muslim black operation assets right at China. And believe me, that's why we're at the negotiating table right now with the Taliban in Afghanistan. That's why you're seeing ISIS fighters show up in Afghanistan as well. I mean, this is what we have to do. This is foreign policy. I know that some of you people out here, that you QAnon faggots and you fucking we are the world, hold hands and sing kumbaya pieces of shit. I know you all think that world peace is possible. It's not possible. The world is in a constant state of anarchy. It's like the Tears for Fear song says, everybody wants to rule the world. And aside from doing this to Canada, and aside from doing this to China, we're going to continue to do this to anybody that doesn't respect the United States and the capitalists that took control of this country again. And let me tell you why. Because these people that we funded with our goddamn tax dollars, I'm talking the Europeans, the Chinese, the Russians. Let me move on to another subject. All these entities are now vowing to defy the Iran sanctions put forth by the United States. So, as you all know, we have implemented sanctions on Iran, which is already on its last legs economically. And the Europeans and the Chinese and the Russians are vowing that they are going to defy the U.S. sanctions. And they're going to continue to do business with Iran anyway. You see, this is why you need foreign policymakers that are able to be strategic in, like, what I just described to you about the Uyghurs in China. The Uyghurs in China are going to spawn a Muslim influx of terrorism in China. Mark my word, I told you this was going to happen. And because I'm prognosticating all this, am I fucking QAnon? Anyway, once again, European, Chinese, and Russia, they vow to defy the U.S.'s Iran sanctions and encourages their business to continue to trade with Iran anyway. Well, this goes to show you so much for our so-called allies, huh? So much for our so-called allies, for Christ's sake. I mean, isn't the Europeans and the Chinese, weren't they supposed to be our allies? I mean, and if they weren't, you could have fooled me by the goddamn imbalanced trade deals that we had with these sons of bitches for 30 years, man. I mean, these are our allies. I'm telling you, this is why Donald Trump understands what's going on. That's why this man has rocked the planet. Donald Trump has put a fucking wrench in the globalist order, and they don't know how to react. They don't know how to react. I just hope that there's enough American will in this country to be able to sustain what Donald Trump is doing here. Because this is a capitalist revolution. I don't give a shit what you think or what you say. That's what it is. Because take a look at the economic warfare that Donald Trump is implementing on these countries. Take a look at the economic warfare on Canada right now. They're having a very big trouble with Saudi Arabia. Not because of a potential terrorist act, but Saudi Arabia sold all their Canadian assets. And this is after we instilled all kinds of tariffs on Canada. So Canada's in a very precarious situation. Same with the Chinese. We keep implementing all these tariffs on all these goods, and they are trying to counteract that by putting tariffs on our goods, but all we sell them is food. That's all we sell them is food. So if they're putting tariffs on their own food, then they're going to starve their own people to death out of fucking principle. Out of fucking honor, for Christ's sake. And I wonder what kind of a fucking smart move that is, China. Because I've said this time and time again. Once the house of cards of an economy of China starts crumbling down, I guarantee you 1 billion people in China are going to figure out, wait a minute, these people can't feed us anymore. These people can't take care of us anymore. What the hell are we going to do? And that's when there's going to be a lot of angry people going at... a lot of people go angry going at the Chinese government, to say the least. Anyway, let me continue going on, folks, okay? Once again, the president has said that anyone who does business with Iran will not do business with America. So even though the Europeans and the Chinese and the Russians want to double down and do business with Iran, okay, aside from the tariffs, we ain't gonna do any business with you sons of bitches if you do business with Iran. And you know something? Iran, you could easily come to the negotiating table at Donald Trump. Remember, Donald Trump's willing to fucking sit down with one of you assholes with no preconditions. None. None. No preconditions whatsoever. So that's what I'm saying, folks. No preconditions whatsoever, and yet the Iranians refuse. They want to continue. They want to continue to have this stupid nuclear fucking deal that was negotiated by Obama. Give me a fucking break. But I'm telling you, America is back, and I hope that some of you that are listening to the sound of my voice that live in America understand that it's time for you to start taking life seriously, you fucking idiots. And stop living life like a fucking man-child. Stop acting like some fucking degenerate who waxes your carrot on 4chan every fucking day, and start acting like a capitalist, you fucking idiot. You understand me? I'm talking to all of you fucking people that are wasting your fucking time and making stupid fucking decisions on your life, and you want to blame everybody else for your fuck-ups. You want to blame everybody else for your fuck-ups. It's time for you to start taking life seriously, asshole. It's time for you to start taking the rights that you have, that's accorded to you by God, under the Constitution, under the Bill of Rights. It's time for you to start taking them fucking seriously, you fucking idiot. But no, let's not do that, right? Yay, let's play video games. Yay, let's wax our carrot to cartoons. Yay! Let's do memes. Yay! You're a normie, because you don't understand the linguistics of our fucking degeneracy, so you're a normie. Yay! It's time to start taking life serious, you fucking useless piece of waste of life shit! It's time to start taking life serious! Wake the fuck up, you fucking stupid internet degenerate! And start doing something! Start making things happen! Don't just sit there like some stupid idiot! Make something fucking happen, you fucking morons! Jesus Christ. Anyway, I'm fucking almost about done with this fucking show. I'll tell you that right damn now. I'm about done with this fucking show. I wish I could go out and have a fucking drink. Alright, I want to be honest with you. I mean, every day, every fucking day I wake up and I look at the reality around me and take a look at how stupid everybody fucking is. And how everybody just accepts being a fucking piece of shit nothing burger. And how everybody just kind of embraces degeneracy. Embraces being a fucking idiot. I'm sick. Fucking sick. I barely want to continue to the last fucking 10 minutes of this fucking broadcast. I barely want to continue. Jesus Christ, I wish that was beer. Anyway, let me move on to the last fucking broadcast. The last subject of the broadcast here, right? And I'm going to talk a little bit about this coming civil war that's happening in Nicaragua. That's right, folks. There is a pending civil war happening right now in Nicaragua. If you happen to be somebody who consumes cigars, and especially nice full-bodied cigars like Padron cigars and things of that capacity, you know that the price of such tobacco is going up. And to be honest with you, Nicaraguan tobacco is probably the best tobacco to consume aside from Cuban. Now, why is there a civil war in Nicaragua? Because everybody in Nicaragua is pissed off at this president of theirs, Daniel Ortega, who is about to be on his 12th consecutive year in power. They're a little upset because they're thinking he and his vice president, his name is Rosario Murielo, and his vice president is actually his wife. Yeah, I'm not even joking around. Daniel Ortega, the president of Nicaragua, his goddamn vice president is his fucking wife. Jesus Christ, what a cuckold connoisseur, for Christ's sake. You know what, senor? You know what I'm talking about, muchachos? What I'm going to do is I'm going to make my wife the vice president of Nicaragua. And there's nothing you can do about it, rato. Anyway, massive protests, and the protests are obviously being put down by Daniel Ortega's troops. A lot of people being shot, a lot of people being killed, etc. And him and his wife refused to step down from power. So what's going to happen here? Well, I'll tell you what's going to happen. It's going to be an all-out civil war. We had a civil war back in the 1980s in Nicaragua. Y'all remember that? I talk about that all the time. Remember, that particular revolution in Nicaragua in the 80s was backed up by the CIA. Because remember, the Chapatistas had taken control of the Nicaraguan country, and they overthrew the military junta that had been in control of Nicaragua. Who was in control of that junta? Oh yeah, General Blandon. General Blandon, him and his men were able to kind of leave certain areas of Nicaragua and go into the jungles, in which they were training and funding not just men but children to go fight the Contra, which is the counter-revolution of the Chapatistas. And as a result, folks, the CIA, they didn't want any of the funding of the Nicaraguan counter-revolution, or the Contra, to be looked after by anyone in government. So what they did is they decided to fund the Nicaraguan operation on their own by utilizing the widespread cocaína, or cocaine plant, that basically grows wild out in Nicaragua. Now, what the CIA did is they flew tons of pounds of cocaine from Nicaragua into a little small airport in Mena, Arkansas. Y'all remember this story, right, folks? And guess who was running Mena, or guess who was the governor of Arkansas? Bill Clinton. And that's why I keep telling you, Bill Clinton was not elected, he was selected in the 1993 elections. He was selected. Why? Because he did business with the CIA by allowing the cocaine shipments from Nicaragua to come in through Mena, Arkansas. And the reason we know this is because a man by the name of Barry Seal, which was an ex-CIA plane driver, was one of the main pilots who shipped cocaine in and out of Nicaragua on a consistent basis. And Barry Seal, believe it or not, there's a Tom Cruise movie made about this guy that was recently made, like last year or something. Barry Seal was about to turn state's evidence and testify about the deep state that paid him to fucking run drugs from Nicaragua to Mena, Arkansas. Now, unfortunately, before Barry Seal was going to testify, he took a dirt nap by being executed execution style. Obviously, that was CIA before, the CIA operations were compromised in a court of law. But what happened with that? I'll tell you what happened with that. The cocaine that was brought in to Mena, Arkansas, it was distributed by a black man by the name of Freeway Ricky Ross. And I'm not talking about the fat fucking rapper that's out here calling himself Rick Ross. He took the name of the original Freeway Ricky Ross, the guy who would literally take the goddamn drugs from Mena, Arkansas, and distribute it all over America. And to be honest, folks, when they were distributing this cocaine, miraculously, somehow, some way, crack ended up becoming onto the scene. No one knows how it was made. No one knows who created the recipe. All of a sudden, crack started becoming an epidemic. And as a result, most of the 80s cocaine black consumption or ghetto consumption or white trash consumption, and if you consumed cocaine in the 80s, you probably funded the Nicaraguan Contra. I mean, it's not funny. This is actually real. Anyway, I was just telling you about the last time they had a little bit of a civil war. Well, they're going to have another one this time. And they're charging that Daniel Ortega and his wife, Rosario Murillo, they're charging them with running the country like a dictatorship. And, they pretty much are, unfortunately. But, I mean, with all due respect, most people that are against Ortega at this point are pretty much leftist again. So we're doing this fucking whole cycle in South America where these goddamn fucking South Americans want to overthrow their government and put in some kind of leftist shit. Like they haven't learned their lesson yet. Like they're not looking at what's going on in Venezuela, for Christ's sake. Now, regardless of the motive, if there is a major revolution, in my opinion, I think this is going to be a massive problem, especially if the Civil War happens within the next couple of months. And the reason I say that this is going to be a problem, folks, is because what happens when war breaks out in a country? You have a refugee problem. And that's exactly what's going to happen if there is a civil war in Nicaragua. We're going to have a refugee situation. Now, in the 80s, there were 250,000 Nicaraguan refugees that were allowed into the United States of America, believe it or not. Yeah, 250,000 Nicaraguan refugees were allowed in the country during the last civil war in Nicaragua. And now the Nicaraguan population has more than doubled. So if there is a potential civil war that happens in Nicaragua, we could see anywhere from over 500,000 refugees displaced in Nicaragua. And that is definitely going to hurt if, and I'm saying if, this civil war happens during the November elections of the 2018 midterms. Because just imagine the influx of 500,000 Nicaraguan refugees leaving their countries and walking straight north up to the United States border. Just imagine. And they're going to claim asylum because their country is under legitimate political unrest. And what are we supposed to do under that precarious situation? What's going to happen when there's a civil war in Nicaragua again and we got over 500,000 Nicaraguan refugees trying to come across the border, and that's on top of all the other goddamn countries, man, like El Salvador and Mexico and Guatemala. I mean, they're trying to leave from all those South American countries. And they don't even have a goddamn civil war or any kind of destabilization going on. Here, in this potential civil war with Nicaragua, it's a very serious goddamn refugee situation, and it could also affect the 2018 midterm elections. Because I'm telling you, it's only August 10th, 2018. There is plenty of time. And if this civil war kicks off, it's going to be a violent one in Nicaragua, and refugees are going to leave. They're not going to want to be in the middle of a war zone. So they're going to leave, and they're going to walk straight north. And look, we're already having enough problems at the border as it is. Just imagine another over 500,000 people trying to get across into the United States. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Anyway, look, folks, that is it. That is all. I told you we had a lot to talk about today. There was a lot of news, a lot of things to talk about, and I hope everybody was a little bit enlightened today about the things that were discussed. If not, well, I don't know what to tell you. I do appreciate your patronage either way. And I do want to thank everybody who's tuning in to the True Capitalist Radio broadcast. And I'd like to remind everybody, if you're listening to the sound of my voice, then you are listening to the Political Underground. And that's why I encourage you, I implore you to please spread this link around like wildfire. All right, the official website of the True Capitalist Radio broadcast is ghost.report. That's all you got to type in your browser. It's as simple as that, ghost.report. And add that to your bookmarks. Add that to your favorites. Tell everybody that the True Capitalist Radio broadcast is live every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Texas Time, right at ghost.report. And don't forget, folks, we've got an archive section, so you can listen to the archives. And we also have a 24/7 live stream where we play the live stream of the previous broadcast on a 24-hour basis at ghost.report. So there are a lot of ways for you to listen to the broadcast if you happen to miss it on one of our live broadcasts, all right? And secondly, folks, I do want to remind everybody, I'm going to be in the True Capitalist Radio chat room tonight, baby. It's going to be tomfoolery. It's going to be a Baller Friday. And I hope that you can come in and chill with us in the True Capitalist Radio chat room. If you want to know how to get there, it's as simple as this. Go to my Gab account right now, Politics Ghost, all one word, no underscores, Politics Ghost, and hit the subscribe button for premium content. Hit the subscribe button for premium content, and once you do that, folks, private message me on Gab and let me know your Discord chat name, because that is where the True Capitalist Radio chat room resides. Let me know your Discord chat name, and I will give you a private invitation to the True Capitalist Radio chat room. It's that damn simple. And one more again, folks, we got ourselves some badass new merch at ghost.market, baby. That's right. If you have not seen the new merch, then type in your browser and add to your favorites right now, ghost.market, baby. It's ghost.report merch. It's ghost.report merch, baby. Aside from seeing the True Capitalist Radio avatar, Ghost himself, not only do you see me in some Donald Trump hair, you know, so in a Donald Trump fro, you know what I mean? Showing my appreciation for the modern-day George Washington himself, and I'm talking about none other than Donald Trump. If you have not seen the new apparel, if you have not seen the new merch, well then, by God, type in your browser right now, ghost.market. All right, check it out. Let me know what you think. Buy something, and you'll be supporting the True Capitalist Radio broadcast. Anyway, let me go ahead and take one more sip of this tea. Good stuff. Man, I wish it was beer. I wish it was beer. I wish it was alcohol. I wish I could truly celebrate a Baller Friday. But, man, 37 days, haven't drank one sip of drink. The hell with it, baby. I'm going to keep going. You know what I mean? Got to let the insides clean out. But I'll be back, all right? I'll be drinking again. You just got to take these breaks. You know, you got to let the internal organs heal itself, all that stuff. Anyway, I'm going to be in the chat room here in about 15, 20 minutes, okay? So please, by all means, if you want to come kick back with us, go to my Gab right now, click the subscribe button, private message me on Gab, and let me know your Discord chat name, all right? Anyway, wait, hold on. Are we having another Thunderdome here? Oh, another Thunderdome! Oh, my God. Anyway, look, folks, I got to go, all right? Obviously, there's another Thunderdome going on in the True Capitalist Radio chat room. I don't know what the hell's going on. I'll be in the chat room here in about 20 minutes. Good God, another Thunderdome? Good God! Anyway, folks, I'm out of here. I hope that you have a good weekend. This is episode number, what is it, 303? This is August 10, 2018. Thank you very much for tuning in, and you better be here Monday, 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. Anyway, I'm out of here. Happy Baller Friday, and death to feminism! Death to socialism! And death to communism! You know what it's all about. And by the way, long live the capitalist army, boy. Don't you ever forget. Long live the capitalist army. Woo! You're goddamn right! I'm talking about the capitalist army! I'm talking about the capitalist army! Google us, faggots! I'm talking about the goddamn capitalist army! I'm talking about the capitalist